Who's coming with me?
It's a short shot. We the source now. Taking over the game, put it on padlock. With a better roster, sick as a plate of lobster. Let them niggas hate, but revenge will never stop us. It's a short shot. We the source now. Taking over the game, put it on padlock. With a better roster, sick as a plate of lobster. Let them niggas hate, but revenge will never stop us. Kill the cancer, you can call me a sick assassin. Cut the chains, you can call me LeBron James. Make a decision, but you never had me in derision. Changing the vision, but mark them that cause division. For real? Never in submission like I need permission. Nigga steady telling lies like a politician. Nigga need to cool it down, but we the new edition. Yes. Yeah, the name is the source. Check the reinvention. For real? You think we not prepared for the fallout? Watch us stack this information. Watch us.
Damn, light ain't shit.
Yo, Source Debate League Elimination Chamber. This is the last debate of the first round. Somebody going home tonight, y'all. Somebody going home tonight, and somebody will advance, man.
I need to be by the.
We got these two wolves in the ring.
Yeah,
I want to see who's gonna win this. I want to see a bloodbath tonight, and it looks like y'all got some fans. We got 50 viewers right now. Somebody got some fans. Somebody promoted well tonight. Well, man, look, y'all in for a treat. These two brothers right here are warriors, and they ready to get it in. Tonight, they're going to be arguing. They're going to be debating on, was Paul a false apostle? Did his teachings contradict the original apostles? Malachi is the affirmative. So he's saying, yes, Paul is a false apostle. Proorizo is the negative. He's saying, no, he isn't. So that's what they're going to be arguing tonight, man. Right? That's what they're going to be arguing. I want to introduce my judges.
Shit, everybody.
I'm going to go to Sister Shari first. Introduce yourself and tell the people your ideology.
Shalom, shalom, everybody. Shari Anaya, Yap Gang member. Yap. I am a Messianic believing Israelite. I believe in Yeshua. And I'm hoping for a good argument and great presentations.
All right. All right. We got our brother Apostle. Introduce yourself and let the people know about your ideology.
Apostle Carlos Lamar, a student of Hebrew, Greek, church history, also Paleo Hebrew. So I'm just going to be listening in tonight and, waiting to see a good debate and, just want to bless both men and wait and see what happens at the end.
All right. All right. The third judge is Asar. Let me see if that's this brother here. Yep, we got Asar in the building, right on time. Asar, introduce yourself to the people and explain your ideology.
E.T. Yamatep Sani Sanet Uncle Uncle Josh Seneb Dua Henu for listening. And just as you heard that, yes, I'm a Shamsu Asar. That means a follower of Asar. We act ethically the same way that our ancestors do. We bring that into the new world. I'm an ancient African. I'm actually a modern day African. It's the same thing.
All right, so we got three judges, three diverse judges from different backgrounds to give you guys a fair judging system. There's no biasness going on here at the Source Debate League. We have no horse in this. We have no dog in this fight. We want you guys to be judged on your performance and presentation. All our judges should understand that you are judging these guys on presentation, not presupposition.
Let me state something concerning that, as I always do. It doesn't matter if your ideology is against mine or anything of that nature. Present your argument. It doesn't even matter if I agree with the other person. I'm basing you off of what you bring to the table tonight and how it looks. in defense of your position and offense of your position. That is it.
All right. So as we say all the time, may the best argument win. We got the CEO in the building.
Is catching a body. Somebody is catching a body tonight. Okay. Right? So listen, man. Welcome to the Elimination Chamber, man. One loss, and you out of here. You move on in the tournament. If you catch a win, $500 prize and a shot at the heavyweight championship of the Source. Well, we don't give out glass trophy, okay? You don't get a real belt, right? What's going on, Joshua?
Hey, man, the people want to see this, man. These brothers done brought in 84 viewers. 84 viewers, man. This
gang in the building, baby.
Hey, somebody promoted, man. Somebody did their job, man. That's all I'm gonna say. Somebody got some fans. You hear me? I want to see these brothers throw blows, man.
Got an early call this morning from somebody that said somebody's getting 30 tonight. All right. So I'm excited to see how this premise is going to go and how brothers formulate their arguments. This is going to be a good one, folks. When I say Malachi Macabee ain't new to this, right? When I say Proorizo is a Source vet, that you about to get a great performance tonight, man, and I'm looking forward to it, man. Let's go, man.
All right, both debaters have agreed on 3 rounds, 15 minutes each. A crossfire segment, 10 minutes each, meaning the crossfire is going to be interrogation. So when it's Malachi's turn to interrogate Proorizo, he has the control. He's going to be giving the questions, right? Vice versa. When Proorizo's turn to interrogate Malachi, Proorizo has the control. He's going to be giving the questions. So I just want that to be understood before we get started here. Who's going first?
Hey, look, y'all might as well let me go first, man. Y'all already called him a vet. Y'all might as well let me go first.
All right, man. Your time starts when your screen is up and you start talking, brother.
Rizzo, is you ready, Nick? Source Debate League, y'all ready?
Let's get it.
Let me share the screen, man. Let's go ahead and cook. Y'all gotta let me cook real quick, man. Share the screen. Bada. Let's go ahead and work. Shout out to the haters, jaw jackers, and naysayers. All praise to the ever-present creator, the all in all, the always was, is, and never shall be. The mighty Yahweh. All right, how we looking? Let me work. All right. Show my screen up. Oh, yeah, the screen is up, boy. All right, let's cook. Let me go ahead. Matter of fact, how do I take the screen to where it's just a full screen? There we go. All right, was Saul or Paul of Tarsus a false apostle? Or his teachings contradictory or hostile toward the original apostles? Acts 1:21 through 26. Wherefore of these men which have company with us all the time that the Master Yahshua went in and out among us, beginning from the baptism of John until that same day that he was taken up from us, must one be ordained to be a witness with us of his resurrection. And they appointed 2, Joseph called Barsabas, who was surnamed Justice, and Mattathias. And they prayed and said, Thou, Lord, which knowest the hearts of all men, show whether of these two you have chosen, that he may take part of what? This ministry, the apostles' ministry and apostleship, from which Judas by transgression failed, that he might go to his own place. And they gave forth their lots, and the lot fell upon Mattathias, and he was numbered with the 11 apostles. Apostleship, no excuses. Requirement number 1, had to be a day 1. Had to be around and witness the Messiah coming in and going out amongst the other apostles. had to witness the Messiah's baptism, and had to witness the Messiah's ascension. These are the requirements. These are the requirements for all apostles. Saul or Paul or anyone claiming to be an apostle outside of these requirements is false before the Creator. Ordination number 1. Joseph and Matthias were selected by the apostles. So obviously they were around to be witnesses. Number 2, the apostles prayed and then cast lots. Number 3, the lot fell on Matthias. He becomes the 12th apostle. This was the ordination process an apostle had to go through. Saul's whole claim to being an apostle was solely based on his revelation and not on the above requirements. Galatians 1:11-12. KJV, Saul of Tarsus defends his ministry. But I certify unto you, brethren, that the gospel which was preached of me is not after man. Verse 12, for I neither received it of man, neither was I taught it, but by the revelation of Jesus Christ. According to Saul of Tarsus, the following is true. 1, the gospel he preaches doesn't come after mortal men. 2, he didn't receive his gospel from mortal men. 3, nor was he taught what he preaches by mortal men. Admitting this means he wasn't taught by the apostles of the Messiah, nor of the earthly Yahshua before he was murdered and ascended. Saul's whole claim to being an apostle was based on his revelation that he experienced on the famous road to Damascus. A self-proclaimed apostle with 3 different conversion stories. Acts chapter 9, 1-3, 5 and 7, bag drop. Acts 9 and 3. And as he journeyed, he came near Damascus, and suddenly there shined round about him a light from heaven. And he fell to the earth and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? Verse 7. And the men which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing a voice, but seeing no man. According to this conversion account about Saul of Tarsus, the following is true. Acts chapter 9, a light from heaven surrounded Saul. 2, Saul fell to the earth and heard the voice of Jesus. 3, the men with him didn't fall. 4, the men with him heard the voice of Jesus but didn't see Jesus. Acts 22, 6-9, clip up. And it came to pass that as I made my journey and was come near unto Damascus about noon, suddenly there shone from heaven a great light round about me. And I fell unto the ground and heard a voice saying unto me, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And they that were with me saw indeed the light and were afraid, but they heard not the voice. They heard not the voice of him that spake to me. According to this conversion account about Saul of Tarsus, the following is true. A great light from heaven surrounded Saul. 2, the men with him saw that light. 3, Saul falls to the ground. 4, Saul heard the voice of Jesus. 5, the men with Saul didn't hear the voice of Jesus. Acts 26, 12-15, KJV. At midday, O king, I saw in a way a light from heaven, above the brightness of the sun, shining round about me and them which journeyed with me. And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. 15. And I said, who art thou, Lord? And he said, I am Jesus whom thou persecutest. According to this conversion account about Saul, the following is true. A light from heaven surrounded Saul. A light from heaven surrounded Saul and those with him. They all fell to the earth. As anyone can see, these 3 revelation/conversion accounts contradict each other. Now, why is this so important? Remember what Saul of Tarsus said earlier. His apostleship and the gospel he preaches is solely and wholly based on his revelation. If his conversion account, if his revelation account has holes in it, then we must naturally question his authority or apostleship. Let's take a closer look. And the men which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing a voice, but seeing no man. 7. And they that were with me saw indeed the light and were afraid, but they heard not the voice of him that spake to me. Acts 22:9. And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. Saul openly defends his ministry and boldly declares the gospel he preaches wasn't given to him by a mortal man, but by a revelation from Jesus Christ. The only mortal men who could challenge Saul's authority as an apostle on a level to where Saul had to respond would be the true apostles. 1 Corinthians 9, 1 through 5. Am I not an apostle? No. Am I not free? Have I not seen Jesus Christ our Lord? Or not ye my work in the Lord? He admits his authority as an apostle is being questioned, and that the church at Corinth is his, or as he puts it, my work. Verse 2, if I be not an apostle unto others, yet doubtless I am to you. For the seal or the proof of mine apostleship are ye in the Lord. He admits that he's not an apostle unto quote unquote others, and that the church of Corinth is the proof or seal of his apostleship. Huh? So not the requirements and ordination ritual for being an apostle mentioned above. Verse 3, mine answer to them that do examine me is this. He admits there is a group of men that are casting judgment on his supposed authority. Verse 4, have we not power to eat and to drink? Obviously, there is a certain level of authority an apostle has. If Saul's apostleship is being questioned, then so is his authority. Verse 5, have we not power? Have we not power to lead about a sister, a wife, as well as other apostles, as the brethren of the master and Cephas? He admits to the existence. He admits to the existence of the true apostles and included the brothers of Yahshua amongst them, as well as Cephas. Amplified Bible. This is my defense. This is my defense to those who will put me on trial and interrogate me concerning my authority as an apostle. 1 Corinthians 9 and 3. Aramaic Bible in plain English. And why is it illegal for us to travel with a sister wife as other apostles and as the brothers of our master and as Kepha? Galatians 1. Galatians 1, 1 through 2. Paul, an apostle, not of men, neither by man, but by Yahshua, Jesus, and the God the Father who raised him from the dead. Verse 2, and all the brethren which are with me unto the churches of Galatia. Look at this. Verse 1. Verse 1 is yet another example of Saul declaring to be an apostle, but not of men or of a man. The only men who had the power and authority to challenge Saul concerning the Messiah are the apostles. Notice, point 2. Notice Paul makes it clear he's talking about a specific group of people that are with him, as opposed to who or whom he's about to go in on. Notice Saul goes to the extent of cursing and condemning anyone who taught another gospel than his. The word gospel proves he's not addressing the biblical Sadducees and Pharisees. Notice how much he's about to use the term. Galatians 1, 6 through 11. Clip up. I marvel that you are so soon removed from him that calls you into the grace of Christ unto what? Another gospel. Even though he says another, he still admits that what is being taught is still a gospel or messianic. It's just different than his gospel. Verse 7, which is not another, but there be some that trouble you and will pervert the gospel of Christ. Saul admits this other gospel is troubling the church of Galatia and is a perversion from his doctrine called the gospel of Christ. Verse 8, but though we or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed, let him be damned. According to Saul, this other gospel and anyone pushing it, including an angel, is condemned. Verse 9, as we said before, so say I now again, if any man preach any other gospel unto you than that ye have received, let him be accursed. Any man would include the true apostles. Let's take a look into who and whom Saul of Tarsus is condemning and cursing. Pre-Nicene Christian Library, Clementine Homilies, Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, Epistle of Peter to James. Peter to James, the master and bishop of the Holy Church, under the Father of all, through Yahshua HaMashiach, peace be always. What else we got here? Epistle of Clement to James. Clement to James, the master and the bishop of bishops, who rules Jerusalem, the holy church of the Hebrews, and the churches everywhere. That would include Paul's churches, excellently founded by the providence of God, with the elders and deacons and the rest of the brethren, peace be always. Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, or the recognitions of Clement. Clip up. Page 133. Peter talks about false apostles. Here it is right here. Falsely king, chapter 35. So observe the greatest caution, that you believe no teacher unless he bring from Jerusalem the testimonial of Yaakov, James, Yahshua's brother, or of whosoever may come after him. For no one, unless he has gone up thither and there been approved as a fit and faithful teacher for preaching the word of Mashiach, unless I say he brings a testimonial thence, is by any means to be received. But let neither prophet nor apostle be looked for by you at this time besides us. For there is one prophet of truth, whose words we 12 apostles preach. For he is the accepted year of Yahweh, having us apostles as his 12 months. Epistle, Peter, source, Epistle of Peter to James. Look at this right here. Peter talks about this. For according to the rule delivered to them, they endeavor to correct the discordances of the scriptures. If anyone happily not knowing the traditions is confounded at the various utterances of the prophets, well, for they charge no one to teach unless he has first learned how the scriptures must be used. And thus they have amongst them one God, one law, one hope. Misrepresentation of Peter's doctrine. In order, therefore, that the like may also happen to those among us, as to these 70, give the books of my preachings to our brothers with the like mystery of initiation, that they may indoctrinate those who wish to take part in teaching. For
2 minutes remaining.
Done,
2 minutes remaining.
if it be not so done, our word of truth will be torn in many opinions. And this I know, not as being a prophet, but as already seen the beginning of this very evil. For some from among the Gentiles have rejected my lawful preaching, attaching themselves to a certain lawless and trifling preaching of the man who is my enemy. Ooh, Peter got the enemy out there, huh? Ooh, Now look at this. Let's go. Let's keep going. As we see, the Nazarene apostles had a doctrine of reserve that every teacher in the movement had to be initiated into. 6 years of training under a true apostle. Eventual circumcision, if not already done, and it is sealed with baptism. Does Saul of Tarsus meet the requirements of being an apostle? No. Did Saul of Tarsus go through any ordination process to become an ordained apostle? No. Did Saul of Tarsus go through the Nazarene initiation process and trial to become a teacher? No. He ain't go through none of that. Galatians 1:17. Neither went I up to Jerusalem to them that were apostles before me, but I went into Arabia and returned again unto Damascus. So his gospel doesn't come from Jerusalem or from the apostles. Arabia, sit your ass down. Then after 3 years, I went up to Jerusalem to see Peter and abode with him 15 days. Peter is an apostle. Verse 19. But other of the apostles saw I none, save who? James, the master or the Messiah's or Yahshua's brother. Saul admits James is an apostle and brother of Yahshua. Now the things which I write unto you, behold, before God, I lie not. You got to believe me, y'all. I ain't lying. Ball game, baby. Bag drop. Let's work.
Time. Oh my God, man. Yo, this brother came out swinging. He said Paul don't have the prerequisites for the job. He said he fall under the imposter syndrome. What you gonna do with that, Proorizo? He's swinging, man. Listen, he got you on the ropes, brother. What are you gonna do?
Man, he ain't got enough for that.
Look,
he got to show that. He got to show. If he don't show Paul matching the requirements or the ordination,
I got it,
Paul is false. He got to crown him as false tonight.
I got you. Let me moderate the host right now, brother.
Okay, bro,
You did your thing. I'm gonna put you in the back and bring up Proorizo. The man said he don't fit the job requirements, Proorizo. That's what he's saying. He did present his case. Let's see what you got, bro. The prosecution has spoken. Let's get it.
That's interesting. Well, we come out swinging, folks. What we gonna do with it? Go ahead and start my time out. All right, folks, y'all know what time it is. To the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to these, it's because there's no light in them. They curse their God, they curse their king. You know, I really wonder if Isaiah 8:20 is talking about Paul. let's see. We'll start with a rebuttal to his argument. It's good to see y'all, folks. We'll start with Ephesians. Ephesians chapter 3. I wasn't going to even go this route. But since we're here, we might as well. Yeah. This is Ephesians chapter 3. I think I'll pick this up at verse 1. For this cause I, Paul, the prisoner of Jesus Christ for you Gentiles, slave. Prisoner is a slave. If you have heard of the dispensation of the grace of God, which is given to me, youward, Paul saying that God gave him something. Dispensation in the Greek text is the word oikonomia. Let's play it.
Strong's G 3622, oikonomia. Oikonomia.
It is a construct in the Greek text of oikos and nomos. Paul's claim here in the book of, in this particular epistle, is that God gave him a management of household affairs. Again, it is a construct of oikos. I'll pull this up for the audience. See the word oikos in the Greek? Oikos. And this is the word nomos. I'll show you that. Nomos, N-O-M-O-S, in the Greek text, is anything established or received by custom, a law, or a command. And of course, there's several things here in the outline, but nomos in the definition means to part, especially food or grazing to animals. You know, one thing that the Bible does a lot, extremely, is compare God's children to sheep. My sheep know my voice, they will not follow a stranger. I won't go to the verse, but I'm sure you've heard this before, as we all have. One thing especially about this is of Moses, including the volume of the book. Taught the law and the testimony, folks. Isn't that beautiful? Also of the gospel, or figuratively, a principle of law. I mean, if Paul is contradicting and being a false apostle, then I guess we need to find out what he's teaching, don't we? He's a steward of the house. That's what he is. Let's get some more of this. You know, a should be backed up with evidence. Not a whole lot of sidebarring. So Paul was given something from God himself. How that by revelation he made known to me the mystery, as I wrote up for in a few words. My opponent has to deal with this mystery, whereby when you read, you may understand my knowledge. Don't think my opponent dealt with that in the mystery of Christ. So far, we got a lot of skim surface claims, but maybe in his next round, he'll use that time to give us some actual evidence, because this is a claim Paul made. See, it's one thing to talk about the man. It's another to actually dig into the evidence.
I want everybody in YouTube to tell me, I'm pausing this time. Is his stream frozen? Did his stream freeze? Put a 1 in the chat if he's frozen right now, because I'm not looking at the YouTube. Let me pull it up. Yeah, he's frozen. Put a 1 in the chat if he's frozen right now. All right, we're having technical difficulties right now, brother.
Cut out.
Yeah, you cut out.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm going to continue your time. I'm gonna continue your time. Go ahead.
Okay. So I stopped at verse 4, Ephesians 3 and 4. Whereby when you read, you may understand the knowledge and the mystery of Christ, the mysterion, which in other ages was not made known unto the sons of men, as it is now revealed unto his holy apostles and prophets by the Spirit. Paul is one of the holy apostles, folks. And I'll show you what that means here later. And here's the mystery, that the Gentiles should be fellow heirs of the same body and partakers of his promise in Christ by the gospel, the good news, euangelion, whereof I am made a minister according to the gift of the grace of God given unto me by the effectual working of his power. And in verse 8, unto me, who am least or less than the least of all saints. That's a very humbling statement. Is grace given, charis, to be fortunate. Paul was one of the fortunate ones, along with the rest of the saints, that I should preach among the Gentiles the unsearchable riches of Christ. Now, my opponent is saying Paul is a false apostle. I'm sorry, folks. Does this make absolutely no sense if I have the grace to preach to Gentiles the mystery that wasn't revealed from the beginning, and yet I am a false apostle? Where's the evidence for any of this stuff? Where? So far, I've only heard claims. That's all we have heard is claims. Nothing really serious. All right. That was one of the things you brought out. I want to bring out another particular point that you harped on about his conversion. My opponent brought out the requirements. Let's deal with that. So first, I want to bring a point out of Daniel. I want to go cut right to the point. Seems like this might take a little while, a little bit of effort. So I'll go to Daniel. Daniel chapter 10. Now here's Daniel. In the 3rd year of Cyrus, the king of Persia, a thing was revealed unto Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar. A thing, and the thing that was true, or the thing was true, but the time appointed was long, and he understood the thing and had understood the vision, had understanding of the visions. Malaki. In those days, I, Daniel, mourning 3 full weeks. I ate no present bread, neither came flesh nor wine into my mouth, neither did I anoint myself at all till 3 whole weeks were fulfilled. And in the 24th day of the month, as I was by the side of the great river, which is Hiddekel, then lifted up as and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. His body also was like beryl, his face as the appearance of lightning, his eyes as lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet like the color of polished brass. And his voice of words like and the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude. And I, Daniel, saw the vision. I, Daniel, alone saw the vision. Let me say that again. I, Daniel, alone saw the vision. For the men that were with me saw no vision. Daniel was in company with men, only he seen this vision. But a great quaking fell on them, so that they fled and hid themselves. Isn't that interesting, folks? All right, let's go to Acts. Let's deal with this Acts. And let's see what this is about. And let's keep in mind what the situation is there in Daniel. Now, is that Acts 11? Let us see. Let's see. I want to get one word out. There's so many. And y'all give me a time check when I get like 3 minutes. I'm on my time with this one. I'm not gonna rush this round.
You'll get a 2-minute warning.
Can I get a timestamp at 3 minutes?
You're at 10 minutes right now.
All right. Oh, okay, cool. I'm looking for one verse. I'm sorry. Give me just y'all bear along with me for a second. I wasn't gonna do this, but I guess I will. Because there's 2 accounts for this. I'm sorry, y'all. I got to check back with my notes.
No dry air, brother. No dry air.
I'm sorry.
No dead air.
Right. I'm chasing a rabbit. Let me stop my screen share for a moment. Let me restart. Yeah, all of this about Paul and his being false is really it's really a lot of audacious claims. But I definitely want to deal with this. I want to get the axe. I'm having a little trouble getting my engine moving here. So I'm just in just a second. Bear with me. So one of the claims is, and I'm gonna deal with that other point later, but I want to deal with this one particular instance where Paul encounters Jesus. And it's just one. I won't do too much. Not with this round. I'm having a little issue, Joshua. Engine is moving slow for some reason. I think I got a lot going on here on my end.
Hold on, I'm gonna pause your time. What's your problem? What's your issue?
I have my slide presentation up, and I've got I'm just moving slow on my end. That's all.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's nothing to do with the StreamYard.
No, it's nothing to do with the StreamYard. It's on my end. I'm having some bad weather on my end. That's all.
Okay. Do you want to email your presentation to me and I show it on my screen and you tell me when to press next slide?
No, just give me just a moment and I'll pick this back up.
All right.
Just give me a moment. I'm
gonna start your time back.
My time back. That's okay. Just start it back.
I
don't want to hold the whole show up on that.
You got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I'm starting your time now.
Okay. So instead of doing that, since I'm having some issues, I'm just gonna pull up my slide and get started on that. Close that out. Window. Sorry about that, folks. I'm having some issues with between Google and my. That's what I want to pull now. Can you see my screen, Joshua? I can see it on my end.
Yes, it's up.
Joshua, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. I can see it. It's clear.
Or am I cutting out again?
No, I can see it. It's on the screen. Can you hear me?
Cool. I can hear you now. I couldn't hear you before. All right. So in this whole thing, and I know short on time and it's okay. One of the first things I want to deal with is some of these Paul. Let's get right to it. Over the past few years, I've seen a whole lot of criticism about Paul being a self-appointed prophet. Paul never met Jesus. And in my next round, I'll go into that. There's a lot of critics about Paul, like Patrick Gray. We have some of these people from like the universities, Thomas Edison. We got a lot of people that criticizes. There's a few people I want to actually mention. But here's from Gray. If Paul could have been the founder of Christianity, then all the faults, and I'm quoting, and all the faults of the historical Christianity could be placed at his feet. The antitheism, the dogmatism, the importation of Roman and Greek philosophy, models of thought, and all these could be seen as Paul's rather than belonging to Jesus. This can be seen appealing to my opponent and for some viewers and observers, but not for all, never for all. Gray attacks the questions by taking up that Paul and those regard him as a sympathizing problem. This is where we begin. This comes from JHUED article. Next slide.
Time. I gave you a grace period too, brother. I gave you.
I appreciate that.
All right, so
I may have to restart too, Josh. By the way,
restart your computer.
I'll stop it.
You think you need?
I might have to. I'm having some real issues with that slowness.
All right, if you're gonna do that fast, brother, you're gonna do that fast. At least have the YouTube on your phone. Do you need the link to the YouTube? That way you can watch while he's doing his round.
Yeah, I have.
Okay. All right. So you got the link. So go ahead and restart your computer, but make sure you're still watching.
Gotcha.
All right, brother. All right. So we're gonna drop you down. Some interesting things and claims was made there. Some counterclaims. The brother said you gotta look at it hermeneutically. So with that being said, we got our brother Malachi. We're moving on to the top of the second round. And let's see where this goes, family. Let's see where this goes. Brother Malachi. Top of the second round. Let's see where this goes, family. Let's see where this goes. You got an echo. Brother Malachi. Top of the second round. Your time will start when you bring up your screen and you begin to speak, brother.
All right, let me know if y'all can see that, Aki.
There it is.
There it is. All right, let me switch back over to it. And then let me cook. Y'all notice it has not been proven that Paul matches or fulfills the requirements. Round 2. Just who was Saul of Tarsus cursing and condemning? For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. 2 Corinthians 11 and 13. 2 Corinthians 11, 4 through 5, and then 12 through 15. For if he that cometh preaches another Jesus, whom we have not preached, or if you receive another spirit, which you have not received, or another gospel, which you have not accepted, you might well bear with him. Saul admits there is another Jesus with another spirit attached to another gospel, which is different from his. So this is messianic beef. Verse 5. This ain't got nothing to do with the Pharisees and Sadducees. Verse 5. For I suppose I was not a whit behind the very chiefest apostles. Saul throws them under the bus and calls them super apostles and says he is in no way inferior to the true apostles. This also proves the apostles are the ones preaching another gospel, as Saul puts it. God's word translation. I don't think I'm inferior in any way to your super apostles. 2 Corinthians 11 and 5. 2 Corinthians 11 and 12. But what I do, that I will do, that I may cut off occasion from them which desire occasion, that wherein they glory, they may be found even as we. Saul admits he's working to undermine the apostles. Good news translation. I will go on doing what I am doing now in order to keep those other apostles from having any reason for boasting and saying that they work in the same way that we do. Saul of Tarsus, 2 Corinthians 11 and 12. 2 Corinthians 11 and 13. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. Saul calls the apostles pseudo, false, and deceitful. Verse 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. According to Saul, the apostles transform, and so does Satan, making the apostles in league or one accord with him. Verse 15. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. Saul calls these same apostles servants or ministers of Satan and pronounces their judgment. Damn, son. Galatians 2. 1 through 7, verse 9, 11 through 14. Then 14 years after, I went up again to Jerusalem with Barnabas and took Titus with me also. And I went up by revelation and communicated unto them that gospel which I preach among the Gentiles, but privately to them which were of reputation, lest by any means I should run or had run in vain. Saul admits he preaches a different gospel from the apostles. Why else would he have to explain it to them privately? Verse 3. But neither Titus, who was with me, being a Greek, was compelled to be circumcised. Saul's gospel was anti-circumcision. Look at this, verse 4. And that because of false brethren, unawares brought in, who came in privately to spy out our liberty, which we have in Christ Jesus, that they might bring us into bondage. Saul calls the law of circumcision bondage. He calls the apostles and the other brothers in this private meeting false. Verse 5. To whom we gave place by subjection, no, not for an hour, that the truth of the gospel might continue with you. Saul admits that he is not in subjection to the apostles in Jerusalem. Amplified Bible. But we did not yield to them even for a moment, so that the truth of the gospel will continue to remain with you in its purity. Galatians 2 and 6, clip up. But of these who seem to be somewhat, whatsoever they were, it maketh no matter to me. God accepteth no man's persons. For they who seem to be somewhat in conference added nothing to me. Saul has no respect or honor for the leaders, apostles of the assembly in Jerusalem. New and Living Translation. And the leaders of the church had nothing to add to what I was preaching. By the way, their reputation as great leaders made no difference to me, for God has no favorites. Galatians 2 and 6, Galatians 2 and 7. Look at this. But contrawise, when they saw that the gospel of the uncircumcision was committed unto me, as the gospel of the circumcision was unto Peter, Saul admits again that his gospel is different from the true apostles. After all, isn't the gospel of uncircumcision and the gospel of circumcision two different gospels? Look at this. Galatians 1 and 9. As we said before, so say I now again, if any man preach any other gospel unto you than that ye have received, let him be damned. Let him be accursed. Galatians 1 and 9. Do you still believe Saul is not cursing the apostles? Galatians 2 and 9. And when James, Cephas, and John, who seemed to be pillars, perceived the grace that was given unto me, they gave to me and Barnabas the right hands of fellowship, that we should go into the heathen, and they, the apostles, unto the circumcision. So it's no more guesswork, family, about who Saul is talking about. He's dropping names. Question: is he speaking good or evil about the apostles of Messiah? How does Saul feel about the apostles and their gospel of circumcision? Look at this. Galatians 5 and 12. I would they were even cut off, which trouble you. That's Galatians 5 and 12 KJV. Galatians 5 and 12 NET. I wish those agitators would go so far as to castrate themselves. That man pronouncing the judgment of castration on those that teaching about circumcision. Galatians 2 and 11. But when Peter was come to Antioch, I withstood him to the face, because he was to be blamed. It is evident by now who Saul is cursing. He's dropping names on whoever he has a problem with. Notice, we never heard Peter's side of this argument. Don't worry, I'm about to show it. Verse 12. For before certain men came from who? James. He did eat with the Gentiles. But when they were come, he withdrew and separated himself, fearing them which were of who? The circumcision. Saul admits that James, the brother of Yeshua, is the one sending other apostles out against him. In saying this, he is acknowledging James's authority in the early Messiah movement. Saul also claims that Peter is violating dietary law by eating with Gentiles or eating meats offered to idols. Verse 13. And other Jews dissembled likewise with him, insomuch that Barnabas also was carried away with their hypocrisy. Saul calls Peter, Barnabas, James, and the men he sent against him hypocrites. Verse 14. But when I saw that they walked not uprightly according to the truth of the gospel, I said unto Peter before them all, if you, listen up, y'all, if you being a Jew, live after the manner of Gentiles and not as do the Jews, why compare you the Gentiles to live as do the Jews? Saul throws Peter under the bus even further and claims he lives and acts like a lawless Gentile heathen. Don't forget, Saul is writing to all of these different assemblies trying to save his ministry and defend his apostleship. Now let's go look at Peter's response to Saul of Tarsus and his false claims that Peter lives lawless. Source: Pre-Nicene Christian Library, Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, Clementine Homilies, Homily 17, chapter 19. Clip up. Peter responds to Paul. Peter responds to Paul. Let me blow this up a little taste. Just a little taste so y'all can see this. Look what Peter say to Paul about his revelation. If then, opposition to Peter unreasonable, if then our Jesus appeared to you in a vision, made himself known to you and spoke to you, it was as one who is enraged with an adversary. And this is the reason why it was through visions and dreams or through revelations that were from without that he spoke to you. But can anyone be rendered fit for instruction through apparitions? And if you will say it is possible, then I ask, why did our teacher abide in discourse a whole year to those who are awake? And how are we to believe your word when you tell us that he appeared to you? And how did he appear to you when you entertain opinions contrary to his teaching? But if you were seen and taught by him and became his what? Apostle for a single hour, proclaim his utterances, interpret his sayings, love his apostles, fight not with me who company with him. For in direct opposition to me, who am a firm rock, the foundation of the church, you now stand. If you were not opposed to me, you would not accuse me and revile the truth proclaimed by me, in order that I may not be believed when I state that I myself have heard with my own ears from the Messiah, as if I were evidently a person that was condemned and in bad reputation. But if you say that I am condemned, you bring an accusation against God who revealed the Messiah to me, and you inveigh against him who pronounced me blessed on account of the revelation. But if indeed you really wish to work in the cause of truth, learn first of all from us, the apostles, what we have learned from him, and becoming a disciple of the truth, become a fellow worker with us. How does Saul feel about the Nazarene apostles' dietary law, Amplified Bible, regarding meat offered to idols? Eat anything that is sold in the meat market without asking any questions for the sake of conscience. 1 Corinthians 10 and 25. James, the brother of Jesus, Acts 15:29, that ye abstain from meats offered to idols. James commands Paul or Saul to follow the same orders that he is supposed to teach the Gentiles. How does Saul respond to the doctrine he has been commanded to preach and live by? 1 Corinthians 10 and 23. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not. By Saul claiming all things as lawful for him, he is saying he is free from James's commands given to him in Jerusalem. Whatsoever is sold in the shambles, that eat, asking no questions for conscience sake. Saul boldly tells the assembly in Corinth that they are free to eat whatever they desire. Good News Translation. You are free to eat anything. You are free to eat anything sold in the meat market without asking questions because of their conscience. 1 Corinthians 10 and 25. That ye abstain from meats offered to idols. James the just, brother of Yeshua. It is clear what Saul of Tarsus feels about the Nazarene dietary law. How does a true apostle such as Peter feel about the food restrictions? Pre-Nicene Christian Library, Clementine Homilies. Homily 7, chapter 4. Clip up. It says right here. It says right here. It says right here, and were smitten in your body. So now if you repent, and as I said, submit to those things which are well-pleasing, and the things which are well-pleasing to God are these, to pray to him, to ask from him, recognizing that he is the giver of all things, and gives with discriminating law, to abstain from the table of devils, not to taste dead flesh, not to taste dead flesh, not to touch blood, and to be washed from all pollution. Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, Clementine Homilies, Homily 7, chapter 8. And this is the service he has appointed, to abstain from the table of devils, that is, from food offered to idols, from dead carcasses of dead flesh, from animals which have been suffocated or caught by wild beasts, and from blood. As anyone can see, Peter, a true apostle, doesn't teach to eat whatever is sold at the meat markets. Peter actually teaches not to eat dead flesh. Chewing on an animal sandwich, according to Peter, is one and the same as eating at the table of devils. Clip up. Look at Peter the apostle, his diet. Clementine Homilies, Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, Homily 12, chapter 6. However, such a choice has occurred to you, perhaps without you understanding or knowing my manner of life, that I use only bread and olives and rarely potted herbs. Let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Let's work and cook. All right, now look at this. Let's look at James, the brother of Messiah, and how he ate. Source, Nicene and post-Nicene Father, second series. There go the book right there. We go into Jerome's writings in here. Jerome and Ignatius, Lives of Illustrious Men. Lives of Illustrious Men. We're going to look at James, the brother of Messiah. Here it is right here. Here it is right here. Read them and weep. Read them and weep. Ooh-wee. All right, right here. Dang. Hold on, computer. Stop playing with it. Look at James. Look at, oh, dang, I went too far. Hold on. I got you. Look at this right here. Here it is. Hegesippus, who lived near the apostolic age, in the 5th book of his commentaries, writing of James, said, after the apostles, James, the brother of the master, surnamed the Just, was made head of the church at Jerusalem. Many indeed are called James. This one was holy from his mother's womb. He drank neither wine nor strong drink, ate no flesh, neither shaved or anointed himself. Source. The Gospel of the Nazarenes. The book is up on the channel. Look at this. Chapter 2, verse 7. Read them and weep. Therefore, speaking to Mary, you shall keep your covenant to eat no flesh, nor drink strong drink. For this child shall be filled with the Holy Spirit, consecrated to the Lord, a Nazarite from his mother's womb. And neither flesh nor strong drink shall he take, nor shall a razor touch his head. Source, Gospel of the Nazarenes, chapter 5, verse 21 through 23. Bottom of chapter 21. Look what it says right here. And they came to a place and dwelt in a place called Nazareth, where dwelt Nazarites and Essenes, and he was called the Nazarene. It also came to pass that in the 2nd year of Jesus' life, a second son was born to Joseph and Mary. His name was James. As with Jesus and John, he was consecrated unto the Lord, a Nazarite from his mother's womb.
Time. I gave you 30-second grace, brother. All right, man. God, Lee. Man. This brother Malachi ain't come to play, man. The prosecution is trying to get the death penalty, man. That's what I'm seeing right now. He throwing the book at Paul right now, man. Come on, the defense got to come with it, man. The defense got to come with it because the prosecution is looking to charge Paul with the full extent of the law right here, man. He said the man went contrary. The man was not keeping kosher laws. The man cursed the original apostles. A lot of claims is being made here, man. God. Anyway, Proorizo, are you ready? Are you ready, Proorizo?
Let's get it. Let's go.
Man, if you don't kick this man, punch him, hit him in the throat, elbow him, go ahead, brother. Choke him.
Well, you go ahead and start my time too, by the way.
All
Well, talking about meat sacrificed to idols does not make Paul a false prophet. Talking about all these other things, none of this addresses the issue. I mean, probably the biggest weight of all this stuff is about just claims how somebody feels. And how would you know how Paul feels? Were you there? Where's the evidence? Folks, this is called gallop, where you here, let me show y'all this. This is what I'm gonna do. Because this is ridiculous. And I kind of felt like this would be a little bit more scholastic in a sense, but I'm not getting that. This is called the Gish galloping fallacy. Just a rhetorical technique, as he done in his first round, with just and running through a whole lot of things, a whole lot of claim, and not making a solid argument. You can't take energy and replace it for evidence. So I'll read this. This is a rhetorical technique which a person in a debate attempts to overwhelm their opponent by providing an excessive number of arguments with no regard for accuracy or the strength of those arguments. In essence, it's prioritizing quantity of one's argument at the expense of quality of said arguments. For example, just to show you how fallacious the argument is, this is the very argument about Paul throwing the disciples under the bus, something to that effect. Yeah, let's deal with that. And here's Peter's own words. This is 2 Peter chapter 3 at verse 15. Let's get right to the point. Verse 14. Wherefore, my beloved, seeing that you look for such things, be diligent that you may be found of him in peace and without spot and blameless. And account that the long suffering is salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul. So according to the wisdom given unto him, which hath written. That's interesting. Peter is vouching for Paul's authenticity as an apostle. What are we going to do with that? Ignore it? As also in all of his epistles, speaking in them these things, the wisdom that was given to him, which are things hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable rest. That means to twist, as you heard in the previous round, as they do also in other scriptures to their own destruction. Ye therefore, beloved, seeing that you know these things before, beware, lest you also, being led away with error from the wicked, from the fall of your steadfastness. What's amazing to me is he ignores the account, the testimony of Apostle Peter. He happens to be the chief apostle. Now to get back to where I started, because see, Paul didn't write that. Peter wrote it. This is Acts chapter 2. Now dealing with this whole thing about, the, what's the word you use? Oh, the requirements. Yeah, what is required? Well, let's define apostle. How about that? Here's an apostle. Here's the requirements to be an apostle. This comes from the McClinic and Strong's Biblical Encyclopedia, some of the greatest scholars, biblical, ecclesiastical literature that the world has seen and known. Apostle, apostolos from the Greek. It means to send, or apostolo, to send forth. In the Attic Greek, the term was used to denote a fleet or naval armament. It occurs only once in the Septuagint of 1 Kings 14 and 6. Yeah, let's read it. Let's go to it, in fact. share this tab instead. So here's the situation. And I'll pick this up right at the heat of it. Boom's wife did so. Of course, y'all have to read this account later, but since this is a debate, we want to get right to the point. And arose and went to Shiloh and came to the house of Ahijah. But Ahijah could not see, for his eyes were set by reason of age, meaning he was blind. And the Lord said unto Ahijah, behold, the wife of Jeroboam cometh to ask a thing of thee for her son, for he is sick. And this is what you're going to say to her, for it shall be when she come in, she shall feign herself as another woman. And it was so, when Ahijah heard the sound of her feet, she came in the door. He said, come in, you wife of Jeroboam. Why do you hide yourself and pretend to be another? For I am sent to thee with heavy tidings. For I am sent to thee with heavy tidings. Folks, apostolos simply means, and I'm going to bring this back again, it simply means one who is sent. The requirement is that the Lord sends you to his word. Share screen. Let's get to the book of Acts and let's see what the requirement actually is. Here's Paul's own testimony, which we did not get from our opponent. He didn't bring us this. Here's Paul's testimony to Agrippa, Acts 26, verse 12. Whereupon as I went to Damascus with authority and commission of the chief priest, he's on his way to persecute more Christian believers. This is prior to his conversion. At midday, O king, I saw in the way a light from heaven above the brightness of the sun, shining around about me and them which journeyed with me. Same thing in Daniel 10, is already brought out. And when they were falling to earth, I heard a voice speaking to me, saying in the Hebrew tongue, Shaul, Shaul, why persecuted thou me? It is hard for you to kick against the pricks. And I said, who are you, Lord? And he said, I am Jesus whom thou persecuted. Now, if this was a man who was a false apostle, actually you would be arguing that Jesus sent the false apostle. He definitely qualifies to be a sent one, but you're actually strawmanning the man's word, as most people do. And I said, who are you, Lord? Curious. And he said, I am Jesus whom you persecute. And here's where he gets into the qualifications. Here's the instructions that God gives to Shaul. But rise and stand upon thy feet, for I have appeared to you. God appeared to Saul, appears to Saul, for this purpose, to make you a minister and a witness both of these things which you have seen and of the things which I will appear unto you, delivering you from the people and from the Gentiles unto whom I now send you. So Jesus sends Paul the apostle. He's a true apostle. Everything you talked about and everything you said and everything we heard was just a bunch of just garrulous ranting. No evidence for anything. This is how you get evidence. So that's the first qualification, folks. God has to send you himself. And in fact, isn't that the same thing the Bible says in Revelation? I, Jesus, have sent mine angels. Here's Paul. He sent with that. Let's deal with that. He said qualifications, and that's not what I'm looking for. I want to just, because you're just making things too easy, brother. You can talk loud and you can talk long, but you actually have to get some solid evidence. This is Revelation 22 at verse 16. I, Jesus, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things. We talked about testimony, that is clear evidence. to testify unto you these things, that I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star. Paul would be an angel. He would be sent. That's what angelos means. It means an angel or messenger. And we know that because the Bible says so. It's the same Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, that sent Paul. See, if he was a false apostle, then it would be the devil sending him, wouldn't it? Of course it would. But we're not arguing that, are we? Where did he get his message from? That's what apostolos means. Messenger. You do well to remember that. Let's get back to our actual source, the McClinic and Strong's. I'm gonna bring this back one more time about apostle. It's amazing. Uniformly in the New Testament, it signifies a person sent by another, a messenger. It has been asserted that the Jews were accustomed to the term the collector of the half shekel, and the Israelites, that the Israelites paid annually in the temple, an apostle. Didn't know that, did you? And we have a better authority for asserting that they use the word apostolos to denote one who carried about encyclical letters from their rulers. Oecumenius states that it is a custom among the Jews to call those who carry about circular letters from their rulers by the name of apostles. To use this term, Paul supposes, to this use of the term, Paul has been supposed to refer to Galatians 1:1. Paul, an apostle, not of men, neither by man, but of Jesus Christ. You got to deal with that. See, all this does is affirm that Jesus sends Paul because he's a servant. Paul, an apostle, Galatians 1:1, not of men, neither by man, but by Jesus Christ and God the Father who raised him from the dead. Now, that's Paul's own testimony. That's what you should have dealt with. To accuse him of being false, you need to first find the origin, and you need to give us some evidence. Who sent him, and what is the evidence you have? Show us some lies. Show us where he actually made up something about this, because Jesus just said he sent his angels. He sent his ministers. He asserts that he was an apostle, not of men, or neither by men. He wasn't ordained by someone. Jesus ordains him himself, and that's what he says. An apostle, not like those known amongst the Jews by that name, who derived their authority and received their mission from the chief priests or principal men of their nations.
2-minute warning. 2-minute warning.
Appreciate you. So let's show you the same qualifications. I'll stop sharing there. And let's show you the same qualifications when it comes right down to the disciples, since I got 2 minutes. Got to bring us some actual evidence, brother. Brought nothing but a lot of ranting, and that's, So you want to talk about qualifications? Yes, let's talk about qualifications. Shantwi, share screen. This will come from Matthew 10 at verse 5. Jesus sends Paul, right? Okay. Let's back up to verse 1. And when he had called unto him 12 disciples, students, mathetes, he gave them power against unclean spirits, to cast them out, to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of diseases. And here's the names of the 12 apostles. First, notice it says apostles, apostolos. Here now the names of the 12 ones he sent: Simon, Andrew, Peter, James, the son of Zebedee, John his brother, Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, Matthew the publican, James, son of Alphaeus, and Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanite, Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him. These 12 Jesus sent forth, apostolos, and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, neither in the cities of Samaria enter ye not, but rather go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And as Peter already said, Paul was a beloved brother. What you might want to try to show us is that maybe they preached a different gospel, because you hadn't showed that yet.
Time. All righty then. All righty, brother. I'm gonna put you on the bottom here. Move you from the stage. Man, the brother said, look, we talking hermeneutics here, man. We talking hermeneutics. He's saying, listen, I got an etymological argument for you. Yeah, you bringing all these jabs, whatever, but I'm the predator. You don't see me come until it's too late. You already cut, killed, and out of the way. The brother said, look at the etymology. He said, look at what the word means. Is that applicable to Paul? The brother made a strong case, man. The defense made a strong case. So let me see what my brother Malachi got for the top of the third round. Top of the third round. This is the Elimination Chamber. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Elimination Chamber. Somebody going home tonight. Who is it going to be? Let's see. Let me bring my brother Malachi up, man. This brother's a warrior, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. Top of the third, Malachi. Top of the third. Brother's a warrior, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. Top of the third, Malachi.
Hey, man, you already know what time it is, man. I'm about to 30 this nigga, man. Y'all already know what time it is. I'm about to 3-0 this boy. All right, now look at this right here. Go ahead and blow my whole screen up, Yashu. Got me. All right, let me cook. All right, my opponent brings.
Yo, what happened to my... Hey, hold on. Put a 1 in the chat if we lost him. I think we just lost the brother. I just muted his time. I just stopped his time because I think we just lost him. Okay, there he is.
Hey, man, it's all good. Let me go ahead and share the screen real quick. All right?
Yeah, I'm going to reset your time and start you over, all right?
Okay, I appreciate it, brother. Definitely, man. Definitely. So my opponent went to 2 Peter 3:15. Again, Proorizo, is you ready, nigga? This is above your pay grade, Jack. All right? Any avid student of history, any avid student of how the Bible is compiled knows that 2 Peter was not written by Peter, brother. The apostle, look, right here. Let me give you the source. So he said, I ain't bringing no sources. Come on, y'all, shoot, man. I thought this was y'all debate vet, brother. What's going on? Source. Not seen in Pope's Not Seen Fathers. 2nd series. All right, let me zoom on down for you. I knew you was going to go pull Peter. That's where everybody run to. All right, now this is Jerome writing about Peter 1,600 years ago. 1,600 years ago. Look at this. Simon Peter, the son of John from the village of Bethsaida. Now let's jump on down for time's sake to where I got it underlined right here. It says he wrote 2 epistles, which are called Catholic or universal. The second Peter, of which on account of its difference from the first in style, is considered by many not to be by him. Bag drop. What is you talking about? 1,600 years ago was a scholarly consensus amongst the church historians. Peter didn't even write that. That was written, that's pseudonymous. That's somebody that wrote that, a Paul sympathizer, and put Peter's name on it, Jack. You understand? Let me jump down to page 40, though, because I wasn't done cooking this cat. Page 40. All right, so I had to rebut you real quick. Now, right here, page 40. Right here. It says Amplified Bible. One man's faith. Now we know who Saul of Tarsus was calling weak, the true apostles. Matter of fact, let me read this right here. Based off ancient testimonials of Jerome and Hegesippus, James, the brother of Jesus, was a Nazarite and a vegetarian. He didn't chew on animals, drink wine, strong drink, or allow a razor to touch his head. The Gospel of the Nazarene says the same thing. Peter, the apostle, according to the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, Clementine Homilies, Homily 12, chapter 6, was a vegetarian also. Now we know who Saul of Tarsus is calling weak. the true apostles. One man's faith permits him to eat everything, while the weak believer eats only vegetables. Romans 14:2. Now we know who Saul of Tarsus was talking about when he said they teach doctrines of devils if they command to abstain from meats. The true apostles. That ye abstain from meats offered to idols. James the Just, brother of Yahshua HaMashiach, Acts 15:29. Saul was already commanded to abstain from meats offered to idols by the chief apostle, James the Just, 1 Timothy 4:1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. Verse 2, speaking lies in hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. Don't forget, Saul already called James and Peter and those with them hypocrites back in Galatians, the 2nd chapter. 1 Timothy 4:3, forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats, which God hath created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. Now, how is this a prophecy if Saul already was commanded to abstain from meats by James the Just? Sit your ass down. Also, according to Jerome, Hegesippus, and the Nazarene Gospels, Yahshua, his brother James, and his cousin John the Baptist were all lifelong Nazarites. No chewing on animals, no strong drink, no wine, no haircuts. Now we know who Saul was talking about when he claimed long hair was a disgrace to a man. The true apostles. New and Living Translation. Isn't it obvious that it's disgraceful for a man to have long hair? Saul of Tarsus, 1 Corinthians 11:14. Hey man, salute to the Nazi dreadhead man. Salute to the Nazi dreadhead. Round 3, ball game. Saul of Tarsus and his band of misfits, the false apostles in Ephesus. And you know what's so funny? This Millie Mouth Negro went to Ephesians. Oh, wait, look at this. Paul, an apostle of Jesus Christ, by the will of God, to the saints which are at Ephesus and to the faithful in Christ Jesus. Ephesians 1:1. So Saul claimed to be an apostle in his letter to the Ephesians. Remember that. Remember that. Look at this. Contemporary. It says right here, contemporary English version. It says, you know that, and this is Paul again, you know that everyone in Asia has turned against me, especially Phygellus and Hermogenes. Saul of Tarsus, 2 Timothy 1:15. Saul admits he caught smoke from the assemblies in Asia. They realized Saul and his crew were false. Look at this. English Standard Version. For we do not want you to be unaware, brothers, of the affliction we experienced were in Asia. For we were so utterly burdened beyond our strength that we despaired of life itself. Saul of Tarsus, 2 Corinthians 1:8. Saul, in his own words, the assemblies in Asia were hostile toward his gospel. New and Living Translation. And what value was there in fighting wild beasts? Those people of who? Ephesus. Those people of Ephesus. If there will be no resurrection from the dead. Jump down. Saul of Tarsus, 1 Corinthians 15:32. Saul calls the Ephesians what? Wild beasts. John, to the 7 churches were, which are in Asia. Grace be unto you and peace from him, which is and which was and which is to come, and from the 7 spirits which are before his throne. Revelation 1:4, KJV. John the Apostle. Notice the book of Revelations is addressed to the 7 churches were in Asia. The same area Saul caught all that smoke. Revelation 2:1-2. Revelation 2:1. Unto the angel of the church of Ephesus write, these things saith he that holdeth the 7 stars in his right hand, who walketh in the midst of the 7 golden candlesticks. Don't forget, Saul called the people of the assembly in Ephesus wild beasts that he was fighting with. Verse 2. I know thy works, and thy labor, and thy patience, and how thou cannot bear them which are evil. And you have tried them which say they are apostles and are not, and has found them what? Liars. There was a trial in Ephesus about Saul and his crew, and the final verdict was they are false apostles and liars. Notice the assembly is not rebuked, but actually commended for their final judgment. Acts 19:1-3 and then 7-9. Clip up. And it came to pass that while Apollos was at Corinth, Paul, having passed through the upper coast, came where? To Ephesus. And finding certain disciples, Saul comes to Ephesus and finds disciples or believers already in the Messianic movement. Remember that. Verse 2. He said unto them, have you received the Holy Ghost since ye believed? And they said unto him, we have not so much as heard whether there be any Holy Ghost. Look at this, verse 3. And he said unto them, unto what then were ye baptized? And they said, unto John's baptism. Trip off this. So they were baptized under the same order as Yeshua and the apostles. Don't forget, one of the requirements for being an apostle is you had to witness Yeshua get baptized by his cousin John. These disciples were already believers in the message of Messiah, and they had already been baptized. Saul convinces them to do another baptism than the one that was good enough for the Messiah and his disciples. Verse 7. And all the men, all these disciples were about 12. Now, how many of y'all knew Paul actually had 12 disciples at one point? These messianic believing disciples accepted Saul's version of Christ or Saul's gospel. Notice these disciples are 12 in number, verse 8. And he, look at this, and he went into the synagogue or the church and spake boldly for the space of 3 months, disputing, fighting, and persuading the things concerning the kingdom of God. The synagogue in Ephesus or the church in Ephesus is where Saul goes and argues. His gospel and version of Christ for 3 months. Verse 9. But when diverse were hardened and believed not, but spake evil of their way before the multitude, he departed from them and separated the disciples, disputing daily in the school of one Tyrannus. After 3 months of arguing and trying to prove his gospel, Saul left the church/synagogue of Ephesus and took 12 disciples with him. Coincidence? I think not. Now, don't forget, Revelation 2:2 said they tried them who said they were apostles and found them liars. Look at this, ESV. But when some became stubborn and continued in unbelief, speaking evil of the way before the congregation, he withdrew from them and took the disciples with him. This man had 12 disciples too. Look at this, reasoning daily in the hall of Tyrannus. Who were some of the men Saul of Tarsus had with him that he called apostles? Revelation 2:2 says it was more than one false apostle. Look at this. New Living Translation. I know all the things you do. I have seen your hard work and your patient endurance. I know you don't tolerate evil people. You have examined the claims of those who say they are apostles but are not. You have discovered they are liars. Revelation 2:2. New Living Translation. Look at this. 1 Thessalonians 1:1. This letter is from Paul, Silas, and Timothy. We are writing to the church in Thessalonica, to you who belong to God the Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. May God give you grace and peace. 1 Thessalonians 1:1. Look at this right here. 1 Thessalonians 2:6, Amplified Bible. Nor did we seek glory and honor from people, neither from you nor from anyone else. Though as apostles of Christ, we had the power to assert our authority. 1 Thessalonians 2:6. Saul of Tarsus, Silas, and Timothy. Notice Saul of Tarsus calls himself, Silas, and Timothy apostles. Sit your ass down. Saul of Tarsus, his Roman and Herodian connections. Salute Herodian, my kinsmen. Greet them that be of the household of Narcissus, which are in the Lord. Watch this. That's Romans 16:11. Parallel New Testament is the source. Millie Mouth Negro talking about I ain't pulling no sources. What's wrong with Proorizo1? Proorizo1. Look at this right here. Romans 16:11. Look what he says. As for the peace of Herodian, my who? Relative. Paul bloodline related to the Herods, to the Herodians. Now look at this. Look at this. Not only is Saul of Tarsus the bloodline relative of Herod the Great, he also had Roman citizenship. Did any of the apostles have Roman citizenship? No. Did Yeshua have Roman citizenship? No. Acts 22:25-29. And as they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned? Now look at this right here. Jump down to verse 28. And the chief captain answered, with a great sum obtained I this freedom. And Paul said, but I was free born. Now look at this right here. Now, how can Saul of Tarsus claim Israelite heritage, have Herod the Great as an ancestor, and be a free Roman citizen? Watch this. Watch this. What's the source? Scriptaclassica.org. That's the source. All right. Now look at this. The article that's written is Sextus Julius Caesar and Herod's Trial. About July 47 BC, Julius Caesar came from Egypt to Syria, and during his short stay there, settled the affairs of the province and rewarded those states and individuals who had given him military aid in the Alexandrian War. Jump down. Look at this. One of the individuals whom Caesar rewarded for his courage and excellent military record in the Alexandrian War was Antipater, the father of who? Herod, to whom he granted who or what? Roman citizenship.
2-minute warning. 2-minute warning.
Okay. I have discussed elsewhere the nature of this immunity by comparing it with the privileges granted by Octavian between the years 42 and 36. In that paper, I put forward the suggestion that the privileges Julius Caesar granted to Antipater and his descendants. What is that? Roman citizenship, y'all. Roman citizenship. As we see, Saul is a bloodline relative of Antipater, the father of Herod the Great. This would explain why Saul told the captain of the guard that he was a freeborn Roman citizen. To be freeborn means you didn't have to earn citizenship and that your parents were both born free. The privilege is solely based on the actions of your ancestors. Types of citizenship. Source Wikipedia. Look at this. Look at this right here. It says citizenship in Rome could be acquired through various means. To be born as a citizen required that both parents, Paul's father and mother, to be free citizens of Rome. Oh wait. Let's keep going. Look at this. Here go the family tree. In order for Saul to be free-born Roman with citizenship means that both his parents had blood relations to Antipater, the father of Herod the Great. Let's look at Antipater's family tree. Is Saul in there? Quick note, Saul's Greek name is Saulus. Oh, lawless Saulus, huh? This right here is based off Flavius Josephus. Close family of Costa Boy B, or son of Antipater. We got Herod the Great right there. And who do we have right here? Oh, there he is. There he is right there. Saulus. Lawless Saul. So you mean to tell me this man ain't even no Israelite? He pump faking. He claiming Israelite heritage. How do we know? Because he has Roman citizenship. Ooh-wee. And not only that, he claimed he was a freeborn Roman. Do y'all understand that? So in closing, all right, I ain't gonna get into Josephus and all that. There are requirements to being an apostle. Requirement 1, you had to be a day 1. You had to witness the Messiah coming in and going out from amongst the brethren. 2, you had to witness his baptism. 3, you had to witness his ascension. Ordination had to go forth. Guess what you had to do? The apostles had to choose you. They prayed and then they cast lots. These are the requirements, and this is the ordination ritual for every apostle to be an ordained apostle. If you don't fit that, then Paul nor anyone today claiming an apostle is a true apostle.
Time.
Bad drop.
I gave you grace, brother.
Ball game.
All right. Hold on, man. Look, man. I just need a time. I just need some time. Hold on. Collect my thoughts here. This brother ain't playing no games, man. I went in there and grabbed my damn belt. I said, hold on, this brother ain't coming from my belt. He been, nope. We ain't having it. The brother is coming in, swinging hard. He trying to land every blow. He's saying Paul, not only is he questioning Paul's apostleship, he's questioning his kinship, his bloodline. Oh my God.
Ooh, can I get that? No.
Yo,
Man, Jeremiah, this brother didn't put Paul on trial all night, brother. All night.
Yo, man. Listen, man, this final round is about to be it, man. Right? Question and answer segment is going to be very interesting, man. Hope you judges are paying attention. Hey, Mally, man, you got some talking to do, brother. Don't think for 1 second. Okay. All right. Yo, man, check out Mally's program after the show, man. It's on you, Joshua.
All right, all right. Pro Rizzo, are you ready, brother?
Right.
Pro Rizzo, are you there?
Let's get it. Can you hear
All
me?
right. Yeah, man. Your time will start when you're ready.
All right. So, very interesting. I heard a lot of things about Paul and his arguments about food again. I don't know why. These things, they don't make the argument. You didn't address anything I said about Peter's statement towards Paul. In fact, same gish galloping you did in your first two rounds. No evidence. What makes Paul a false apostle? Nothing. Just he jumped rope, he drank water, he got tired, he wiped off, he started sweating, he went to sleep, he got up again. I'm dead, I'm alive, jump up, jump down. Witness. I don't see none. It sounded good though. A lot of punching and swinging, but no hardcore hits.
Did we lose him? Did we lose him? I'm stopping his time and see if we can get Pro Rizzo back on the program. There he is. There he is. I know the brother is going through a storm right now. All right. All right. All right, brother. I paused your time, brother. I paused your time.
Yeah, that's cool. I appreciate it. So as I was saying, yeah, we having a little bit of a anyway. So I want to share my screen here because this is really ridiculous. I've heard nothing that deals with any witnesses. I mean, homilies may be, but come 1600 years later. You said 1600 years ago. No, 1600 years later, after the first century. You definitely over embellished on that one, didn't you? But we'll pick that back up in the crossfire. All right, so let's deal with some things here about this argument about Paul, because you say a lot of things, and you said something about Peter too, which I don't know why you shouldn't have done that, but now Peter, as I stated, he says that Paul's writings were twisted. A lot of people, we read what Paul says, and then we come back like Thomas Jefferson and some of these other people, some of these scholars, and I have a few names out here I might want to mention, but you just have an opinion. And usually the critics of Paul come with a lot of opinion. No hardcore evidence. Like if you're a false apostle, there's one common denominator I think we all can agree on, even yourself. I think is they lie. They lie. They tell lies. I mean, how about that? I've not seen one lie you nowhere in any of his epistles. But we'll deal with that. But since you mentioned Peter, here's some scholarly opinions about Peter. This is from the ISBE, the International Standard Biblical Encyclopedia, just to name a few names. The ancient opinions. The great teachers and scholars of Eusebius, St. Jerome, Athanasius, St. Augustine, Epiphanes, Rufinus, and Cyril received it as genuine. It's concerning your statement about Peter's letters. Ouch. It's got to bite a little bit. The Reformation of Erasmus rejected 2 Peter. Luther seems to have had no doubt of its genuineness, Martin Luther. While Calvin felt some hesitancy because of the discrepancies between it and the first. First and Second Peter. Yeah, they got on his grass about that. In the 4th century, 2 church councils, one Laodicea, circa 372, and the council at Carthage 397, formally recognized it and placed it in the canon as equal in authority with the other books, with the writings of Paul. Those 13 epistles? Yeah. The question was never about Paul's authenticity when it comes down to his. But you questioned Peter when I brought that verse out. That's a kill shot. And don't you ever forget it. And homilies can't do nothing to stop that. Read it.
All right, all right. I think he's frozen. I paused this time at 5 minutes and 6 seconds. So we're gonna give him some time to come back and complete his 3rd round.
Okay,
Are you back?
I'm back.
Okay. All
I'm,
right,
I, it's still
5 minutes. You ready?
all right. Yep. All right. So here's Clement of Rome. This is AD 96. Owing to envy, Paul also obtained the reward of patience and endurance. Does that sound like a liar? Sorry, that sounds like a man who does the right thing to me. Again, first epistle of Clement. After being 7 times thrown into captivity, compelled to flee, stoned, all this is for telling truth, after preaching both in the East and the West, he gained the illustrious reputation due to his faith, having taught righteousness to the whole world. And Paul said, I'm guilty of the blood of all men. First epistle of Clement, E96. This is, and I could go on with that, but let's move on to something else. Anti-Paul people are fighting Marcion. Laverne said Paul's teachings are in contradiction to what Yeshua and the apostles who walked with him taught. Is that true? I've heard no claim from you to show us with direct witness anywhere in his epistles or in Paul's writings or in John's writings or Timothy or Titus, the Ephesians, Galatians, Corinthians. You've shown us nothing. You give us no proof that this man was false, untrue at all. Not even a false doctrine. Everything that you asserted was just a mere claim. That's it. No evidence. This is evidence. Marcionism. So Paul's teachings are in contradiction to what Yeshua and his apostles who walked with him taught. That's what Laverne said. Based on what? Irenaeus, with regard to those Marcionites who alleged that Paul alone knew the truth. That's a lie. Christ says, I'm the way, the light, and the truth. Paul, according to Marcion, the only apostle who had rightly understood the new message of salvation as delivered to Christ. But you didn't talk about that. That's what you should have did, but you didn't. We're going to deal with that in the cross exam. Marcion stated with a radical view that the church's teaching must conform to the gospel of Paul. Well, if you're going to deal with false apostles, you have to deal with their gospel. You have to deal with the doctrine of it. You didn't. You talked about, well, what it take to be qualified to be an apostolos. It means to be sent. Anybody can be sent. We've seen that in the Old Testament. That's not an argument. It's a good try, though. God's specific direction for the church are found predominantly in the 13 epistles that God used Paul to pen for the church age. This is what Marcion is saying. That's amazing. The main point to consider is whether the particular truth presented elsewhere contradicts the plain teachings of the Apostle Paul in the church. If it contradicts his teachings, it cannot be church age doctrine. It's amazing. He believes Paul wrote the epistles, but his argument is it's really moot. Where's the evidence? That's probably what you should have gave us. Enough with that. So let's talk about things that let me stop screen share here. A whole lot of things that I really wonder. I don't know what abstaining from meats is about, but you know, in our Jerusalem council, they talked about this whole thing about abstaining from meats, and I want to go to that because you are, I don't know, you're inventing a lot of things again, but you're not bringing us proof. This is going to serve to bite you later on. So in the book of Acts, we have the Jerusalem council, and guess who's there? Peter. Acts 15. Acts 15. I'll share my screen now. So let's go through this. When you gish gallop like that, the way you do, all you do is just give a false impression that you are actually making a solid case, and you're not. Verse 1. And I'm just gonna paraphrase some of this for the sake of time. Here we are, council at Jerusalem. You can see it. I mean, it's just right there. It's the header. So, Malachi, had you read this, that certain came down from Judea, taught the brethren, and said, except you be circumcised. That was the issue. You know, context. You're trying to make all your arguments out of context. Fallacious. Except you be circumcised after the manner of Moses, you cannot be saved. Did Paul preach you had to be circumcised to be saved? No. That's the Pharisees, certain Pharisees. So when Paul and Barnabas had no small dissension and disputation amongst them, they determined that Paul and Barnabas and others, certain of them, should go up to Jerusalem unto the apostles and elders about that question. Here's a real big dagger for you. What apostles are we talking about? You mean Peter, John, and James, and Bartholomew, and Thaddeus, and all these other apostles that are already mentioned? The 12 that Jesus actually sent out, the other apostolos. And being on their way by the church, they passed through Phoenicia and Samaria, declaring the conversion of the Gentiles, because Paul is out there on his missionary journey, preaching to the Gentiles, and they're converting, they're believing Paul. And they cause great joy unto all the brethren. See, Paul's a false apostle. That's what you say. He's a false apostle. Really? The beloved brother Paul is a false apostle because you say so, twisting the narrative. So here they come to Jerusalem at verse 4. They came into the church, and the apostles and the elders, and they declared all things that God had done with them. Paul's still talking about Jesus. He's still talking about what God has done. What are you going to do with that? Ignore it? That's what you do. This is called cherry picking. You're suppressing some of the information or a majority of it, and then you create a whole nother narrative and spin it around. We call you people spin doctors. And when there was much disputing, Peter rose up and said, men and brethren, I want you to know that Paul is a false apostle.
2-minute warning. 2-minute warning.
How come Peter didn't know Paul? Or did he know Paul? It looks like he did. That's where Paul is. He's amongst the apostles. When there had been much disputing, the men and brethren, they said, you know that a while ago, God had made choice amongst us that the Gentiles by my mouth should hear the word of the gospel and believe. It's not Paul, it's Peter. He started that. That's for all you brothers out there that think Paul is twisting the narrative. That's for all you people out there who think it's Paul who started churchianity. I'm sorry, it was Peter. God made the choice amongst us that the Gentiles by my mouth should hear the word of the gospel and believe. And he put no difference between us and them, and he purified their hearts. And of course, this whole section, if again, for the sake of time, if you read this, you'll see that it was Simon again. The same Simon that was sent by God in Acts 10 is the same Simon that affirmed that Paul was a dearly beloved brother, and people like to twist what he says because he's preaching the truth. And if we go down, we'll see the conclusion at the Jerusalem Council. Peter says, therefore my sentence is this, that we trouble them not, which are among the Gentiles that are turned to God. And that's what Paul was doing in his whole missionary journey. But that we write to them that they abstain from pollutions of idols and fornications and from things strangling from blood. That's where Paul gets this whole abstaining from meats sacrificed to idols. He did not teach abstain from eating from meats. But we're going to visit that in the crossfire. This is Proorizo1, folks. To the law and to the testimony.
Time. All right, man. All right. That is the completion of all three presentation rounds. We're going to go into a brief intermission. Play our brother Jeremiah's music video. And after that, we're going to get into the crossfire segment. All right, brothers? All right. I appreciate everybody that's watching. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the Source Debate League on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, hit that like button. Y'all World 77, hit that like button. Y'all already know Genesis 49ers. Hit that like button, man. Leave a comment. All right? So let's get into it, man. Let's work. Hey, man, I hope y'all enjoying this debate, man. I hope y'all enjoying this debate.
Yeah, man, stay tuned, man. More preliminaries on the way. Can y'all hear me clearly?
Yes, clearly.
Hey, Malaki, man, play a second you, man. I apologize. While he's getting that, family, we got more preliminaries. We're transitioning into the next round. This is the final match of the first round. Am I right or wrong about that, Joshua?
Yes, this is the final match of the first round. We're going to be moving on to the second round of the Elimination Chamber tournament. $500 is on the line. A title shot is on the line. Which one of you brothers got it in you, man? All right. Oh, you wanted me to play another one. Hold on. I gotta load that one up, y'all. Hold on. Brief intermission, y'all. Brief intermission. All right, y'all. I appreciate every one of y'all. Appreciate the judges taking out your time from your busy lives and your families to be a part of this. I appreciate the debaters that partook in the Elimination Chamber, and we appreciate the audience for viewing. Without you guys, this thing just does not work. All right. Proorizo, I'm going to drop you to the back, and I'm going to play this video real quick. All right, here we go. Shout out to the Source Debate League, man. Shout out to NYMG. Shout out to all our supporters.
The tents of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David, and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. this Hebrew swag man is out of here. Flying in the air through the clouds like a chariot. Go to the store to buy this, they don't carry it. The heathens come down to the hood, we don't let them in. Spend all of my time with my people though. Here's another extra fly song, hit the dance floor. Know what Judah and we started in all the trends. It's the Israelite at the door, but just let them in. Look at this brew, extra fly man, he just to kill. No, we not Candy Rain, but we're so for real. It'll be the first place they throw the phone. Put your hands off in the air just to let them know. Hey, 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 throwing up the phone. Hey, 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 throwing up the phone. Throw your tribe in the air just to let them know. Me and my Hebrew tribe throwing up the phone. Throw your tribe in the air just to let them know. Me and my Hebrew tribe throwing up the phone.
Yeah, STL was the hold up. When you hear the Yahoo and see the foes up, make all my people two-step to this. Shoot a block folk tribe, yeah, we rep with this. I got my SIG on me, but on the low I keep it cool. Old school gang, speak not to a fool. Never compromise cause I play by the rules. Fear of your hours so it's like I don't abuse. Yeah, so folk tribe get a playback. Northern Gate, West Bank, first to say that. Fake you, cocksucker, we don't play that. The first city with the foes on the map. Hands on Hebrews with the strap in the back. And when it comes to the spirit, we stay on attack like King David and his sons. Folks drive where we from. Ain't a thing built a kingdom from a crumb. Righteous, you can keep your priests and your nuns. Melchizedek, you the king and priest. Trying to line up your Howard, I through him I speak.
Hey, 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 throwing up the phone. Hey, 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 throwing up the phone. Throw your tribe in the air just to let them know. Me and my Hebrew tribe throwing up the phone.
Tear the flow up, throw your fours up, foes up. We about to blow, party till we fold up. Dedication to our king and the nation. We at the feast eating good old place. Oh, I'm Ashiaki, I was shot, no patience. Brothers for the north, no patience. Hate, stick against the laws, he's Satan. Satan talk about the royal laws, you break. Sisters looking good like a vacation. We the real Jews, no fake. Jeremiah on his way, location. We do it big in the heart of the nation.
Hey, 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 throwing up the phone. Hey, 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 throwing up the phone. Throw your tribe in the air just to let them know. Me and my Hebrew tribe throwing up the phone. Throw your tribe in the air just to let them know. Me and my Hebrew tribe throwing up the phone. In the air just to let them know. Me and my Hebrew tribe throwing up the phone. In the air just to let them know. Me and my Hebrew tribe throwing up the phone.
All right, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that. That was a brief intermission. That was a song from my brother Jeremiah, the brother Malachi, Macabee, and Maharka. They did their thing, so I hope y'all enjoyed that. But we're going to get back to the main attraction. Man, it's going down to the wire. We got the crossfire segment. Let me bring both debaters back on stage. My man Malachi and my brother Proorizo to the law and the testimony. Hey, this the crossfire segment. You both of you brothers agreed to 10 minutes each. And since Malachi, you went first and Proorizo went last, it's on you, Malachi. You get to interrogate this brother for 10 whole minutes.
Okay. Well, let's go. All right. You already started the time, brother?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I got a couple questions for Proorizo. Proorizo, is you ready, Nick?
Hold on.
Hey, look. Bro, I don't know what's wrong with this brother phone over here, man. But hey, my question to Proorizo is, does Paul fit the requirements of being an apostle in Acts chapter 1, verse 21 through 26? If he does, brother, can you please quote a chapter and a verse with the proper precepts to prove?
Give me that address one more time. Acts what?
Acts chapter 1. Verse 21 through 26. Does Paul fit the requirements of being an apostle according to Acts chapter 1, verse 21 through 26? There's the requirements, and then there's the let me finish real quick. There's the requirements, and then there's the ordination ritual where you ordain an apostle. My question to you is, does Paul fit that? And if yes, please quote the scriptures for us, brother.
You're building a false dilemma. First of all, this in Acts, and I'll go to it, is concerning Judas,
who was an apostle.
Right. Well, Judas fell headlong and his guts burst in verse 18. See, the context tells you what this is about. And when they found out all this information, the scripture actually in verse 20 says, "For it is written in the book of Psalms, let his habitation be desolate and dwell therein, and let another take his bishopric office." So, therefore, verse 21, of these men, see, that's the context, of these men, Paul was not there. Paul wasn't even coming.
That's right, Proorizo. That's right. Come on.
That's right. That's right. Get the rest of this work. So of which of these men that have accompanied us, who was with us, who traveled with us from the beginning, from John's baptism, Paul don't even come into play till way later after Jesus had died and come back. Acts 2 already happened. Acts 3, Peter had already went to Cornelius, preached to the Gentiles. As I landed in my debate, this doesn't even concern Paul. This is what we call a non sequitur. Has nothing to do with the qualification here. Is for someone to take up office of Judas, which was between Justus and Matthias.
Okay, that's good. That's a good point. I mean, that ain't no good point.
Next question. I want to eat all the time.
That ain't even no point, because trip off this. Judas is an apostle, and if you would have went strictly down from Acts 1 and 21 on down, it lets you know that Judas fell, and that Matthias was numbered with the 11 apostles. They named that he may take part of this ministry and apostleship. Must one be ordained? We got ordination, we got ministry, we got apostleship, all in Acts chapter 1, verse 21 through 26. Somebody had to fill the slot for a 12th apostle. Right now, after the apostles, there are no apostles. The best you can be is a disciple, a student of one of them, and then take on other things like deacon or, other titles. But there are no apostles after the apostles in Acts. There is no 13th apostle. Paul is not sitting on no throne judging no tribes of Israel. That's for the 12 apostles. That's why Paul was constantly, am I not an apostle? 1 Corinthians 9 and 1, since you're saying I ain't proving nothing. 1 Corinthians 9 and 1, am I not an apostle? That's a question. His apostleship is being questioned, bro. What are you talking about? All right. So Acts 1 is about apostleship, ministry, and ordination. You can't get past that. That's a problem you can't get around. Next question. Is the gospel of circumcision and the gospel of uncircumcision two different gospels?
No, it's not. Same gospel.
Wow, brother. So why isn't it all just called the gospel of circumcision then? The fact that it's worded different shows you it's two different gospels. Paul said, anyone bring or teach another gospel, count him cursed. All right. Now, according to Paul's own letters, Galatians 2, the 2nd chapter, he said that he teaches the gospel of uncircumcision.
Okay, let's go to that address quickly.
The apostles teaches the gospel of circumcision. There's just one problem, That's it. Before and after the ascension of Messiah, he already had his apostles out there. You read it in Acts 15. Peter said that he was already out there. So the apostles already had Gentile protocol, buddy. They don't need no Saul of Tarsus to skip around here with a dream he can't get right. Now, you said something, trip off this. You said something earlier when you were like, the fact that he sent proves he's an apostle. Brother, come on now. You smarter than that, Polo Rizzo. There are apostles and there are false apostles, brother. False apostles are sent too. False apostles are sent too. I want to show you my screen real quick. Let me share this so you can see what I'm talking about. Add a brother share my screen just real quick. I want to show you. This right here is the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles. And you shot yourself in the foot because the Clementine homilies is not 1,600 years later. That's first century documentation. When I said 1,600 years earlier, I was talking about the post-Nicene and Nicene era fathers. And I went to Jerome's writing. And Jerome, 1,600 years ago, it was a huge scholarly consensus amongst them that many believed that Peter did not write 2 Peter. So your only shot was to go to 2 Peter, but 2 Peter wasn't written by him. And then it goes into based off of composition and literature. Now, I mean, composing style and writing. Now look at this. Let me show you this. It's Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, brother. Recognitions of Clemens. You need to get that. You need to get that. You dig that? Obviously tonight, bro, you don't know what the hell you were talking about at all. All right, this is Peter again. Okay. Page 133, Nazarene Acts of the Apostles. Therefore, our master, confirming the worship of one Yahweh, answered him, it is written, you will worship Yahweh, and him only will you serve. And he, the devil, terrified by this answer, and fearing lest the true obedience of the one and true Yahweh should be restored, hastened straightway, the devil did, to send forth into this world false Naveen, false prophets, false Shlikim, false apostles, and false Morim, false teachers, who should speak indeed in the name of Mashiach, Christ, but should accomplish the will of a demon. Look at this, chapter 35. False apostles, Peter again. So observe the greatest caution, that you believe no teacher, unless he bring from Jerusalem the testimonial of James, Yahshua's brother. Paul did go to Jerusalem and get letters from James, but James told him what? Teach to abstain from meats offered to idols, from things strangled, from fornication and blood. Saul of Tarsus gets to the churches of Corinth and start teaching his own thing. You can eat anything sold in the meat markets. When I asking questions for
2-minute warning.
You say what, bro?
2-minute warning.
Got you, bro. So look at this right here, Peter. So observe the greatest caution, that you believe no teacher, unless he bring from Jerusalem the testimony of Yaakov, James, Yahshua's brother, or of whosoever may come after him. For no one, unless he has gone up there, and there has been approved as a fit and faithful teacher for preaching the word of Mashiach. Unless I say he brings a testimonial from there, it's by any means to be received. Paul's testimonial didn't come from Jerusalem. He went there, they told him what to teach, and then guess what he did? He busted a U-turn and started teaching his own thing. It's by any means to be received, but let neither prophet, Navi, nor Shaliach, apostle, be looked for you by you at this time, besides us. For there is one Navi admit, prophet of truth, whose words we 12 apostles preach. For he is the accepted year of Yahweh, having us 12 apostles as his 12 months. So I just wanted to show that right there. Yeah, there are apostles, and yeah, he was sent, and yeah, he had a vision. Muhammad had a vision too. Constantine had a vision too at the Battle of Malivian Bridge. But we all know Christianity was started by a false god. So if it's all based off a revelation and a vision, that revelation got to be on one accord with those Yahshua already set up to run his mission and control his legacy. And them, his brothers and his disciples who became apostles. Bag drop. What is you talking about, boy? Ball game. You ain't came out with nothing. You over there chewing on a gravel sandwich. Don't nobody even know if you coming or going. What is he talking about? Everybody in the chat like, you got 30, boy. What are you even talking about here?
Time. Just want to remind the debaters that this is your time to interrogate by asking questions. So make sure you utilize your time properly. Proorizo, it's on you to interrogate Malachi. Go ahead.
Okay, Malachi. Question. What gospel did Paul preach?
The gospel that Paul preached was according to his own revelation and according to his own mouth. At times he calls it the gospel of Christ. At other times he calls it the gospel of uncircumcision.
But
That's
you
what he
just
calls it.
preached his own gospel.
And he goes as far as to cursing and pronouncing the judgment of castration on anyone pushing the doctrine or the gospel of circumcision. That's Galatians 5 and 12.
Are you not familiar with Romans? So you're not familiar with Romans?
I'm just saying, let me finish answering real quick. You asked about Paul's gospel. Paul's gospel is referred to
about
as
his
the gospel
gospel
of uncircumcision and the gospel of Christ, according to him.
Okay, thank you. That's what I needed to know. Did Paul preach the resurrection?
Yeah, he preached resurrection. Absolutely.
Okay. Did Jesus preach resurrection?
Mm-hmm.
He did?
Yeah.
So you would agree that Jesus, when he tells the woman at the well, I am the resurrection, when he tells Martha that?
That's what it says. I got
so Paul
biblical
preached the
narrative.
resurrection record. And Paul preached the gospel of salvation as well, correct?
Yeah, he did, based off his own understanding.
Okay. Did Jesus do healings?
Hold on. Salvation without works. That's what he
didn't ask about works. Didn't ask about works. Didn't ask about works.
You did, but that's his doctrine. That's his gospel.
Did Jesus do healings?
Absolutely.
Are you familiar with Acts chapter 19? God wrought special miracles by Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Okay, and are you familiar that from his body were brought unto the sick,
the handkerchief,
aprons and diseases departed from them, and evil spirits went out from them?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You are familiar with that?
I'm familiar with that. It's written that Paul did miracles.
Right. Paul did miracles.
Paul did miracles, but trip off this. So did the warlocks in Egypt. No man is to be worshipped.
Not talking about warlocks.
I know.
You're under interrogation.
I'm saying just because a miracle was done don't mean a man is
interrogation. You're under interrogation. It's my time to ask questions. Your time to answer. Are you familiar that certain vagabond Jews, exorcists, took upon them to call over them which had evil spirits in the name of the Lord Jesus, saying, we adjure you by Jesus whom preach it. Here's the question. Is that a sign of a prophet? That Jews and other vagabonds would actually appeal to Paul's authority and his fame and his reputation. Are you aware of that?
Brother, I know the scriptures well. Yeah, absolutely.
You know the scriptures. Is that the answer you're going with?
You said, am I aware with it? Yes, I'm aware.
Are you aware that the sons of Sceva tried to cast out a demon or devil
19:13-20
in the name of Paul? Words. Next question. Are you aware that the signs that shall follow Jesus that believed in his name, one of the signs was casting out devils? Yeah, let me bring you to the verse. I want to ask you the question so you'll make sure you get it. That's all. Same question. All right.
Say it again, bro.
This is Mark. Right. This is Mark 16:17. And these signs shall believe in my name, they shall cast out devils, and they speak with new tongues. Also, I think that's verse 18 as well. They shall take up serpents, and if they drink anything deadly, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands upon the sick and recover. So here's a question for you. Is there any example in the Bible where somebody actually was bitten by and didn't die? Are you aware of anyone like that? Who?
Yeah, he got bit by, according to the story, he got bit by a snake and he ain't swell up and died. Yeah.
For the record, Paul, folks. That's a good one. Thank you. And does that sound like the mark of somebody who might be a false prophet?
What, doing healings, brother? Casting out devils? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Bro, listen to me. Those who ain't even part of your faith can cast out devils and heal folk.
Didn't actually.
Healing a miracle is no reason to find anybody true or false.
Is that the sign of a false apostle?
Is it the sign of a false apostle is they do not meet the requirements. And trip off this. Paul is cursing the apostles. He called them by name. The man false because he's against Messiah's family. That's why he's false.
Next
he's
question.
False because he don't fit the requirements.
Next
He's false
question.
because
'cause
he
you're
never
not
was
addressing the
ordained.
question.
He's
You're
false
not
because his
addressing the
revelation
question.
account don't add
Again,
up.
you're not addressing the question. I understand that it's hurting, but you're not addressing the question.
Okay.
You're not.
The chat say you got body.
Now, I already asked you that was Paul bitten by the serpent and he wasn't hurt. You admitted for us with your own mouth that this man actually was one of the people that Jesus was talking about. But yet you say he false in light of the solid evidence that the man actually believed in Jesus. Question.
Yeah, a false apostle.
Does false prophets believe in Jesus? Do a false prophet believe in Jesus?
Do a false prophet believe in Jesus? There are
Does
plenty
a false prophet
out here
actually believe Jesus?
There are plenty
Yes
of
or
false
no?
Do false prophets believe in Jesus?
Yes.
Yes. There are plenty of false
Could you
prophets.
name one of those false prophets in the Bible that believed in Jesus?
You say who?
Can you name a false prophet in the Bible that believes in Jesus? Can you name us one? Give us one name.
Yeah, Saul of Tarsus.
And could you point to us the lie that he showed us? Because you hadn't done that this whole debate.
I can. Drop that. Let's
Give
go
us
to
the
Galatians
verse.
2. Bag drop, boy. I'm about to body your ass. Bag drop. Go to Galatians
I need the
2.
address.
Matter of
Galatians
fact,
2.
Excuse me. Watch it. Let's go to Acts 15 first. I want to share this with y'all. I'll show you where he lied at.
Acts 15 too.
No, we're gonna go to Acts 15 first. Acts 15 and 29. Yeah, you called for that early, and I'm like, he don't even know. Paul is in his stuff talking about.
Rizzo has to allow you to do that. This is his interrogation.
Oh, okay, my bad.
He has to allow you to go into a scripture, whatever. He has to control.
Okay, well, look, let me explain where Paul was lying at then, and then maybe he can go ahead and look it up. Okay, now, Paul's version of the Jerusalem assembly in Galatians, the 2nd chapter, and what went down in Acts 15 at the Jerusalem council don't line up at all. Trip off this. You read earlier in Acts 15, right? Well, the whole situation was about circumcision, right? And then when we get down to Acts 15, verse 13, James, the brother of Messiah, stands up and he said, my sentence is this. All right, trouble not of those among the Gentiles who have turned to God, but that we write unto them that they abstain from meat offered to idols, from blood, from things strangled, and fornication. Right? And then
where's the lie in that?
Trip off this. When you go over to Galatians 2, Paul talks about the circumcision, and then his lying ass say, those who were in conference added nothing else to me. You lying. When you went to Jerusalem, they discussed the circumcision, and you also got letters from James to what? Abstain from meats offered to idols, from things strangled, from fornication, and from blood.
Okay, brother, you're not answering my question. You're dodging my question. You're dodging my question right now. I'm ready to move on. Apparently, you have no evidence.
Nothing was added.
Okay, brother, it's my time to ask questions. You don't have
2 minute warning,
and this is 2 minute warning. So, you don't have any solid evidence for Paul lying. Instead, you're just twisting. I want to ask you again. Next question: did Paul suffer for the preaching of the gospel of Christ?
Yeah, he definitely suffered. James was sending men at him and all that. Yeah,
does Jesus himself
preaching his version of Christ?
Bro, question. I want you chewing my time up. Yes or no? Did Jesus Christ send Paul to preach the gospel on the road to Damascus? Yes or no?
No.
You deny that. Do you deny the account that Luke wrote in Acts that Jesus himself spoke to Paul and sent him directly?
Yes, I deny it. Absolutely. I ain't
deny
he had a vision.
Plain reading the record, he denies that. You have to deny it to make Paul a false apostle, which you say one of the requirements is that he had to been with Jesus, and he was with Jesus. Do you deny that Paul actually encountered Jesus? Do you deny that too? So you deny the record, right?
Bro.
Yes or no?
Paul on record.
Do you deny the record? Just a yes or no?
Acts chapter 9, verse 7.
Do you deny the record? Yes or no?
In Acts 26 and 14.
Malachi, you have to Damascus, the question, Malachi. Do you deny the record? Yes or no?
His whole claim to being an apostle was based off that revelation. You went to Acts 26, but you didn't go to Acts 22.
That's not what I asked you. You're running from my question again.
You would have knew it had holes.
You're ducking and dodging. You have to answer the question, brother. You must answer the question. Are you flat out the book of Acts, which was written by Luke? Second eyewitness test.
You should say it again.
Just a yes or no. That's all.
What are you
That's all we
saying?
want. A yes or no. You just
Ask
flat out deny the book of Acts in the 15th chapter, which was written by Luke, according to scholars, penned by him. Do you deny it? Just yes or no.
The book of Acts, chapter 15.
You Acts all night.
I've been quoting Acts 15 all night, bro. I don't deny Acts.
So you're cherry picking, correct?
No, I'm not cherry picking. I'm showing
Then do you deny it?
3 stories about his conversion has holes in it. He don't know if he only heard the voice of Jesus.
You're cherry picking the book of Acts, and you only suppress the information that seems to contradict your position.
The light only surrounded him.
You're contradicting the position.
Surrounded all of them.
Why you cherry pick the book of Acts, folks? And that's the issue.
Time. This is the Elimination Chamber.
30 ball, boy.
This is the completion of the debate. Both debaters completed it. Both debaters did well, but this is what decides the victory. All right, this is what decides it, man. I don't want no brother hitting me up in my phone, my Facebook, saying, "Hey, nah, man, nah." Hey, I want to hear that. We got 3 judges, non-biased judges from diverse backgrounds. They're going to judge this thing based on the arguments given and on the presentation, not on presupposition. So I'm going to drop both debaters down. Source Debate League. This is how we get down here, man. Hit that like button. If you want to see more debates. This is the end of the first round. We're going to transition to the second round. Which one of these brothers is going to make it to the second round, man? Which one? With that being said, I want all of my judges to text me who you got winning. Matter of fact, if you look in the private chat, I'll give you my math or my number. As they say out east, my math. Text me. And the reason why I'm doing that, because one of you brothers, one of the judges, I don't have your Facebook information, right? Send me your pick. And after you guys send me your pick for the winner, I'm going to call on you to explain why you picked your winner, okay? Everything's on the line, man. These brothers are debating and fighting for $500 in a title shot. One of these brothers going to be able to move on and have a chance to challenge me for my heavyweight championship belt. So it's all on the line, brothers. If you don't have my Facebook, there's my phone number there. My Gmail is here. Send me your pick. And for the audience watching, we make the judges send their picks over. That way, while they're explaining, they're not influencing another judge to change their pick, right? We want you guys to really pick the winner based on the performance and presentation that you guys witnessed tonight. We want it strictly on that. Not on presupposition, on presentation, on the brother's performance tonight. So let's see what we got here. All right, let's see if we got those picks in real quick. brother Asar, which brother you got, man? Which brother you got? All right. We're waiting on Carlos. Carlos, either email me or text me your pick. Asar, what brother do you have winning? I'm waiting on you to name the brother that you got winning. Carlos, I'm waiting on you to give me your pick. All right. I got Carlos. Asar, I'm waiting on you, brother. And then we can move on to the adjudication. All right. Look. The comments. Look, if they were the judges, if they were the judges, you got a lot of brothers, man. You got a lot of brothers in here. You got a lot of brothers and sisters in here, man. Asar, brother, tell me who you got winning. I'm waiting on you, brother. We're just waiting on one more judge, and after that, we're done. We're gonna have these brothers explain to the audience who they got. We're gonna have those brothers explain to the audience who they got. Great debate, great topic. You understand? But somebody got to go home, and somebody's moving on. Somebody got to go home. Somebody's moving on, man. Which one of these brothers is going to move home, man? Which one of these brothers is going to be able to keep fighting? You know what I'm saying? Hey, man. Hey, man. Y'all know how we rock here, man. All right, we'll go to my brother Asar first. Let me go to my brother Asar. Hey, this is where it counts, man. This is where it counts. Asar.
There we go.
Who you got winning and why?
Man, this was a good one. Scholastic Bully kind of took it though. Our brother had issues in the first half of the battle with his computer, but also you didn't really like Scholastic Bully pulled out his
You mean Malachi. You mean Malachi.
Or Malachi, yeah. Malachi pulled out his primary resources. He not only pulled out the primaries, he was giving examples of why Paul shouldn't be considered the man. When it came to the other gentleman, you agreed with him because you said Peter and Paul had a beef. And we all know Peter and Paul had a beef. It was over circumcision, and it was also over circumcision, and it was also the issue that they had at Antioch, which I think is in Acts 15:2, right? If I'm not mistaken. So it was clear that there was a beef. It was clear that Paul's and I've seen this discussion before. If you put Paul's teachings next to Jesus, they're different. There's differences. But even though I knew that information, you never attacked him back in a manner stating that, look at Paul aligned with Jesus this way. Look at Paul in his, you did like very little of that, and you didn't attack that enough. And you agree with him on his point, thinking you're defending yourself because you're saying, oh, Peter is the problem. Well, if that's the case, we know there's an issue between Peter and Paul. So I had to give it to my brother Malachi, who got busy. And you'll rewind this and you'll come back and attack. That's all.
All right, man. We got the first judge in the building. One for Malachi. Now let's move on to brother Apostle Carlos. And let's see who he has winning this bout, winning this match. Remember, this is the Elimination Chamber.
One loss and you out of here.
One and done, man. One and done. This ain't the NBA. You don't get to play a series. This ain't the best of 7. It's one time, and that's it. So, Apostle Carlos, who do you have winning and why?
Well, I sent you what I got, and I don't know if I'll be able to get away with that. Now, if I based it on presentation, if I based it on energy, if I based it on hits, it would have to be Malachi. I've been a leader for churches for over 20 some years. If I did not know the Bible the way that I do, he would be very convincing. He left a lot of, he laid a lot of things down. And again, if I didn't know the Bible, wasn't quote unquote a scholar, I'd be like, wow, this is absolute. But at the same time, I think for the 3 rounds, I think he had it. I loved his energy. I love the way he came out swinging. He's a fighter, great. I think with the lightning round, brother Rizzo kind of laid back, and I think he kind of hit him with some shots that were hard to answer. The only issue that I had with Malachi is that he he won those rounds simply because they weren't being defended, because a lot of things that he said, which was a good strategy, but it was still untrue. He took a lot of things and he did a copy and paste, and he created a narrative of a situation that looked like from the surface that what he was saying was true. When he talked about, you know, different things that Paul was writing, and Paul was actually writing to Judaizers, you know, and it wasn't towards Peter and them. And so he got away with a lot of things when it comes to that. And I mean, if you wanted to go by just presentation, I would say that he won. But if you wanted to go by actual 100% hardcore facts and truth, I would never agree that Paul was not an apostle, because I understand enough about it. So that's why I said if I had to do anything, I'd tie it. And if I can't tie it, I might have to give it to Malachi simply on his presentation.
There we go. There we go. And that's what we do here, man. It's about judging on presentation, not presupposition, brother. So that's 2 for Malachi. 2 for Malachi. All right, so that gives it to Malachi. He will be moving on to the second round, but we got one more judge. I'm curious. I think the audience is curious. The people want to know, our last judge, Shari. Can you explain to the people who you got winning and why? Sister Shari.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
It was a clean sweep. Brother Malachi took this debate strength only on his presentation. I don't agree with his premise, but on my scoring rubric, he racked up the most points based off his presentation. He collected a body tonight, really, and I really enjoyed the energy. The only thing, there's a lot of critiques that I could go into, but the only one that I'll point out is that Q&A. You were still in presentation mode, you were in rebuttal mode, and I wish you would have just hammered him more question and have him agreeing with you more, and really you would have took all those extra bonus points I had for you in that Q&A. Proorizo took all his bonus points in the Q&A, but his first round really hurt him on my scoring card. But congratulations to both debaters. Malachi, Macabee, great job, and you won this debate.
All right, man. So I want to say this for the record. Here at the Source Debate League, okay, you're gonna get a fair shot. All right, you come in here and you perform, you drop 30 at the Source. Good chance you're gonna get the win, man. Shout out to brother Malachi Macabee, man. My brother held it down. I'm still extremely anxious to lay the smack down on your candy ass. Don't think for 1 second I'm gonna say only by Malachi and let you get away with this, brother. It's on you, Joshua.
Man. Malachi, after that first round, said, "Oh hell no, this brother got me messed up, man. You trying to come? What are you doing here, brother?" This brother was speaking with such confidence. I thought this brother was coming directly for my belt, man. I was like, is this brother challenging me? I got up real quick and started making rounds. You hear me? I was like, let me open my PowerPoint. Let me open my PowerPoint, brother. What's wrong with you? You think I'm gonna sit back and let you say that? Nah, man. This brother challenging me now. That's how I thought. You know, that's how I was thinking, man. But that brother came with the fire. He came with the passion. The brother presentation was on point. And the judges, they picked who they picked, man. They picked who they picked.
Man, look, man. Yeah, hey, man, look, that's what it's all about at the end of the day, man. Shout out to the judges, man. We really appreciate y'all, man. Y'all taking out y'all time to listen to these debates, man, and judge honestly and fairly, man. We appreciate that. You guys are a big part of the reputation that we have here at the Source for giving brothers to be able to come in here with their understandings and their ideologies and put forth the presentation. And it's not based upon our own personal bias. You're going to come in here and you're going to get a fair shot, man. So, Joshua, man, any last words from Brother Proorizo?
Yeah, let's bring Proorizo up. Let me drop a judge, and let me bring Proorizo up. I just, you know, I had some words from Malachi myself because I felt threatened. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that man got you turned up. They got this man, Josh Shooter, turned the camera on.
I'm like, nah. We ain't taking that. We ain't taking that, brother. Don't make me pull out this PowerPoint on you, brother. You ain't taking this from me, man. This ain't yours. You hear me? Proorizo, it's on you, brother. To the law and the testimony. Let's get it.
To the law and the testimony, folks. If they speak not according to these, it's because there's no light in them. All right, folks. So we voted for a guy with no evidence. That's what we voted for, you judges. I listened to y'all's station. One voted on energy. The title was, Paul, is he a false apostle or not? The brother presented nothing with false information. I proved that in the cross exam round. No evidence. Well, there you have it. So it was a good discussion, but I'm going to leave y'all with it. Proorizo1 out. Good win, bro. I'm off the mic.
Let's bring
appreciate the humility, man. All praise and glory, man.
Let's bring our brother Malachi up, man. The victor, the man that's gonna be moving on to the second round. Hey, but listen, brother, don't appreciate
the humility, man. All praise and glory, man.
Hey, brother, don't talk too slick,
Let's bring
man.
our brother Malachi up, man.
This my belt. This my belt, brother.
Hey, man.
Hey, brother, don't talk too slick. Bring our brother Malachi up, man. This my belt. This my belt, brother.
So y'all got belts over there. Yeah.
You got background.
Hold on. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, y'all got belts and shit. I feel you, brother. I feel you, man. But look, I came and showed and proved. I told Jeremiah, I said, I'm about to 30 this nigga. I'm about to crown Saul of Tarsus as a false apostle tonight. And I did just that. You understand? I came out with this. I ran into a few Nazarene and Nazarites in the scenes roughly 2-3 years ago. Start getting a few different books and all that. Start studying and diving deep into the Bible, looking at certain things, and was like, good night. So from then to now, I dropped over 109 Nazarene editions on the channel Honor and Humility STL. Shout out to Proorizo, though. You know what I mean? It's really past him. Jeremiah should have been took this debate. Jeremiah, Maharakal, Karata Zaya, 2 years ago, all this dropped in Israel. You dig? And I knew this day was coming. So since really nobody wanted to debate it, I just started loading up. You can come to my channel, Honor and Humility STL, and you can start at Nazarene Edition Part 1 and just scroll down to Part 109. You understand? Nothing but first century, second century, third century, fourth century, fifth century. Nothing but the testimonials of church fathers. You understand? Church historians testifying about the Nazarenes, the Ebionites, the Essenes, the original followers of the Messiah. You understand? You get into Josephus, he started digging a little deep down too. So I knew this day was coming, and since ain't nobody want to pop off then, I just loaded up because I knew it was coming. So you ain't heard nothing but a bomb from me. That's what happened tonight. Bombs away. Anybody got any questions? Email me at honorandhumilitystl@gmail.com. If anybody want to get into any type of special classes, because that's what I specialize in, first century messianic movement coming out of Palestine. Anybody want to get into special classes? Email me. Anybody want me to come and talk to your pastor, invite me up into in front of your church or whatever? Book me. Honor and Humility STL@gmail.com, and we can arrange something to make it happen, man. It ain't no thing. You understand? Hey, we coming to bomb and we coming to set the record straight. Saul has been crowned tonight. It's a false apostle. And if anybody else think they want it, tell them go ahead. Tell them their fingers ain't broken.
Oh, bro, you got nothing to worry about, brother. You ain't got nothing to worry. You talking that talk, bro. You ain't got nothing to worry about. I'm coming over there in just a minute, brother. I'm coming.
Okay, I hear Jeremiah. Hey, Jeremiah. Hey, man, make sure you travel safely on that road, man. That's what you did, man. Come on home, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the love, family.
Hey, Jeremiah, where you want me to send them flowers, Hebrew?
All praise, man. But I salute you, brothers, man. Right on for the opportunity, allow me to come through and present. I have plenty more. That's a 64-page Google Doc, and I was adding more to it as well. You understand? So if anybody want to, I'm about to do a post-debate chop session over on the channel. Tap in. It's all good. All praise to the ever-present creator, the all-in-all. There always was, is, and never shall be, the mighty Yahweh. Malaki Macabee, I'm out.
Dang, man. Hold on. Before you leave, brother, King Self is your next opponent, brother. King Self, man. The Texas Rattlesnake. Do you have what it takes to take down King Self, brother?
I don't even know who. I mean, I know that, yeah, I met the bro on one of those prelims or whatever, but I don't know, like, I really don't know what he teach or whatever. Yeah, my field of study is first century Palestine. That's me. I sympathize with the freedom fighters that stood up against Rome. You understand? And the zealots and how they was protecting the household of David. That's me. Dead Sea Scrolls, Nazarene Act, all the above. You understand? So I don't know what we can chop it up and try to agree on a title, but I mean, we'll see.
Hey man, Texas Rattlesnake, bro. Stone Cold Steve Austin. He said you ain't ready, brother. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting that in the universe.
On the topic. You know, if he agreed to one of my topics, I'm gonna smoke him too.
Oh man. He said you just a Hebrew, brother. You ain't ready. You just a
Hebrew. Yeah, I'm more than that, Arky. Hey, look, he felt that tonight. He's like, damn.
Hey, look, man, you ain't taking my belt though, so I ain't worried about it. You know what I'm saying?
Up, bro.
That first round, I was like, okay, I got to be a little worried, man.
Hey, Joshua, man, you know it's all love, brother. You know it's all love, man.
Hey, but you better watch your mouth, brother. If you make it all the way to the end, I got something for you, brother.
Come on with it. Come on with it. Hey, guess what? You're gonna be the next 30. I'm a 30 ball your ass too.
You can't 30 the king, brother.
What's up, bro?
All right, man. Great debate, brother. Great win.
Source Debate League Elimination Chamber, the house where champions are made, man. Elimination Chamber, one loss and you out of here. $500 cash prize. We actually moving to the second round in the Elimination Chamber. This is where it's going down. Look, family, like, subscribe, right? Share the video. Share the videos. A lot of you vegetarian alike out there, I seen you in the comment section. Share the video, man. Much love to all of y'all, man, for tuning in to Source, right? Passover. This is Passover week, man. So y'all got it with me. You understand? But we're going to be right back at it after Passover, right? Peace and blessings to the family.
Source gang.